You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
What got to put up with around here? You people.
I'd fire people. Make up for last week, man.
I'd fire people, but ain't nobody working for me.
You're out of here.
What do you mean, you people?
You people. You people.
He means white people. That's what he means.
Disguised as another dude.
Something like that.
Man, I love that movie.
Anyway.
Tropic Thunder. Hey, folks, I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Wayne.
And we're the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about
How we game.
It's Thursday night, and I'm glad to be back with the boys.
Woohoo.
How y'all doing?
Good, yeah.
Get the whole team together.
Yeah, it's been a rough week, man. This weekend was a rough one, Rob.
Yeah.
We had Lonnie's memorial service.
Yep. It was a little rough, yeah.
And then we had a memorial service for a friend of mine, a coworker of mine, for his son, 19-year-old son. So it's kind of like two different stories being told there all in the same weekend. It's been a rough week. Like, I wasn't sure how I felt about today getting on the show, but I'm glad you guys are here. I'm already having some chuckles with y'all pre-show.
Good.
So thank you for showing up. Thank you for all of you who are listening. I do want to mention regarding Lonnie's funeral, fellow Beans and Dice, part of the group from the get-go, even before Beans and Dice was Beans and Dice. He was part of our group.
Well before, yeah.
Over 200 people I saw
crazy.
there. It was insane.
Huge turnout.
I started thinking, like, if I had to hold a funeral, like, who would show up for mine?
Probably not 200 people, but
Right.
Is there an open bar?
that has something to do with it.
Free Taco Bell.
Yeah. Oh, I'm there. Now I'm in.
When I go, it is an open bar.
Well, yeah.
It was great seeing Muhammad there.
Full on Irish.
Yeah.
I tell you what, with as many people as Lonnie knew in his circles at church, with his disc golf, with his friends, with his University of Florida love, right? All the tailgating groups that he was a part of, right? To find out, to listen to his family provide his obituaries, his
eulogy,
eulogy, to have Mo from our little board game group mentioned so many times by his family, the impact that, and even his family talked about how surprised they were that in one of Lonnie's, what they call Lonnie's eras, they called it. He had his disc golf era, right? His board game era that was more of a recent thing. To find the impact that Mo had on Lonnie, like, brought me to tears, man. Like, it really did.
Yeah,
I had no idea that they were that close. I met Lonnie at the same exact time that Mo did. We were at Armada, and I think Lonnie was coming to buy a game off of Mo. Because let's face it, how many people in our group were introduced because of Mo, honestly?
No doubt.
Because of his wheeling and dealing with games all the time.
Sure.
I mean, that's how I got introduced to you guys was through Mo.
Yeah.
And Mo would just be like, if he just met you, hey, we got a group of guys, why don't you come game with us? Well, it would never enter my mind to do anything like that. And here we just met Lonnie, sold the game, we're doing exactly what we do here. We talk about games. And then Mo was like, yeah, man, you should come out and game with us sometime. And I was like, I'm thinking to myself, you don't even know this guy. Like, he could be burying bodies in his backyard. You have no idea.
That's all right. You can still game with us. Yeah.
But after that, and I know I wasn't here last week. I wish I was. But just to kind of like bring this to a close from my end, Lonnie was in, like, there was four of us, Mo, Dan, Lonnie, and me. Like, we were the foursome that would always get together.
Yeah.
And we just understood each other's sense of humor.
For sure.
We could get away with a lot of stuff that we could never get away with in any other groups. And we knew, like, where it was coming from. Like, it was coming from the heart. Like, we just loved each other. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to miss Lonnie.
He filled a church of people.
I think that's crazy, man. That's awesome, though.
And when his wife, because his wife didn't speak, she had the pastor read her message, because I can't even imagine having to deal with that. She mentions the time that Lonnie spent with Mo and the gaming and the love they had for it together.
That's awesome.
Lonnie's daughter gets up there. There's 5 different speakers. Lonnie's daughter gets up there. She mentions how she's never even met Mo, but based on everything Lonnie has talked to her about, the stories with Mo, like, how gaming can bring two completely opposite people from two completely different
Ages.
Muhammad from Palestine, right? Two completely different people together in friendship, in respect. It makes me happy to be doing what we're doing here today.
Absolutely.
So thank you all for joining us, and that's where I'll leave that because I don't want to cry in front. I don't want to cry on TV.
Don't cry on TV.
Well, to bring the humor to it is Lonnie will live forever in our group because he is turned into a verb that we call you Lonnied that because if you forget that, and I know you guys mentioned this last week because I did listen to the show. If you happen to forget a rule towards the end of the game, and when you say, "Oh, I forgot to tell you," and then when you reveal that rule, you end up winning the game.
Oh yeah.
You Lonnied the game. Like that
scored
is a
points
Lonnie
using
move.
that rule.
I forgot to tell you that every chit you have in this row it counts as double, and I just happen to have that whole row filled up. But
So Lonnie will. I use that term here, and people look at me like I'm nuts. I'm like, you don't know, man.
Yeah.
The question is, was it on purpose or was it just generally forgetting?
No, I think it's just Lonnie not remembering everything.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't grow up a gamer. He was a University of Florida, big college fan, sports guy,
Football
right?
guy,
And I think because he had an 18-year battle with cancer.
Yeah.
And I think as that ate away at his body, right, his competitive spirit wasn't there. And I can attest to that in a sense. I grew up having hip surgeries since I was 15 years old, right? I've been having hip problems, multiple hip surgeries up to replacement. I'm a competitive person, but I don't have the body to compete in the way I want to. Board games give me that outlet, and I think it gave Lonnie that outlet to be.
I don't know, man. You see the 51-year-old guy from Algeria competing in the shooting sports in the Olympics today?
Oh yeah.
I didn't see that. No.
Oh,
you didn't see
it?
That was yesterday.
So like, you know, if you ever watch Olympic shooting, right? They come out.
He's from Turkey.
Turkey.
We were watching this week.
Yeah. They got like headset on and dampers and like 50 million equipment, all this other stuff.
It looks like a Star Wars blast.
Right. No, this dude from Turkey, he comes out just t-shirt and pants, like dad bod. Walks
no
out,
eyewear.
No eyewear.
He's not wearing that full leather getup.
Nothing. He has a polo.
They have these leather getups now for shooting, where it stiffens your body. You look like C-3PO,
right?
Like you can't move.
He's got a polo shirt and khakis on. Turkey a polo shirt. Right?
I think they were joking that he had flip flops on too.
He might have. Yeah. He comes out, puts one hand in a pocket, just goes.
Well, that's how they shoot, though. Honestly,
and he just boom, 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 like right in the center. He wins the silver medal.
Wins the silver medal.
53-year-old dude.
I got to see that. I got to go back and watch that. Yeah. I'm watching on the Peacock. I'm going back and watching all the replays of different stuff. So
That is straight gangsta.
I got to find that.
He was.
No doubt.
I love the Olympics, man. I've been watching it all day.
Oh, I have too, man. Today's Japan versus the People's Republic of Korea table tennis match.
Table tennis, yeah.
That was.
I saw some of that.
Whew, that got rough.
Been watching the rugby, the women's rugby.
Oh, women's rugby, yeah.
Oh
U.S.
my gosh.
Dramatic win for a bronze medal. Yeah, it was bronze medal match.
Bronze
Last minute play. Yeah.
And then some fencing. I've really been enjoying watching the fencing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
My sport, rowing, the men's 4 final was today. The U.S. men won gold for the first time since 1960.
I saw that. They were kicking butt, man.
Yeah, they were flying.
Nice.
So good stuff.
I think being a competitive person and playing board games goes together. Like it's just it's just a different way to be able to compete.
Yep. Agreed.
Yep.
And now we're gonna give out some medals now. Right?
Ooh, some of our own little medals.
Our own tops, right?
Our boards.
Because we're going to be talking about our top 20 boards for the July. I mean, July was a strong month.
Big month. Dice Tower East for those of us here in the Florida area and those who were able to attend. So we got a lot of games played there, and I played a lot of games outside of Dice Tower. I think I played more at Dice Tower than I did the rest of the month, but just barely. And that's saying something because Dice Tower's 5 straight days of gaming. So
I say we start all the way in the West Coast before we open up the phone lines. That way it's not interrupted.
Yeah.
Let our buddy Michael update his list. So we'll give him the screen
put him
here.
on the spot here. Yeah.
And then That'll give us a chance to finish writing our magnetic tapes on this side.
I got to maybe write down a few more here.
Just a quick reminder for the folks who are newer, our top 20 boards, we have rules for how to put them up, but nobody cares.
Yep.
We do our own thing.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You can even do like Mike and just skip the middle.
Just,
don't even fill the middle. Just fill the
Easy
top
now,
and the
easy.
bottom.
Do 4 to 16.
And then do like top, bottom 20.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
There you go. But what we do is the rules are that we established are you have to have had played the game to be able to put it on the board.
Yep.
In order to move it in a future time, you have to have played it again.
Play it again.
To be able to move it on its own merits.
Yep.
So it's all about what games we played this year, so that by the end of the year we can tell you what our top 20 plays of the year were. And with that, we give it to our man, One Mike, One Game out in Seattle.
Okay. All right, because you guys were making fun of me last time we did this.
Of course we were.
Never. What are you talking about?
Uh-oh.
You got to open it up.
He's
Give me
queuing
control.
something. He's trying
There
to
we
do
go.
this thing. There we go. Oh, look
Here
at
we
this.
are with the
Holy
PowerPoint presentation for
mackerel.
today,
PowerPoint
guys.
presentation. He came extra prepared.
2024 totals so far.
Wow.
Let's see here.
This guy.
There we go. So the stats are for number of plays, I'm up to 130. Unique games played, 74. New to me games, 42. My copy games is going to be 38. Unique players went up to 70 this year so far.
70 different people who you've touched this year. For anybody
easy.
listening,
Say that a different way. Say that a different way.
Yeah,
Don't leave it that way.
Wow. And my dimes and nickels have not moved at all, unfortunately. And that's all for the PowerPoint presentation. I'll spare you guys the rest of that.
Thank you.
That was riveting.
Yeah,
Riveting.
I had to do that since you guys were
Giving you a hard time.
making fun of me last time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let's get to the real business. Mm-mm-mm. All right. All right. So just a quick review of where I was standing before. I only have 2 games this week, also, by the way. Or this month, I mean.
2 games to add?
2 games to add.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
No,
okay.
2 games on my list, on my
That's
top
it.
2.
Yeah, top
I'm
2.
down to top 2 now.
Wouldn't surprise.
So just a quick review. Going from 20 down to 1. Mobile markets, sale, Minnow Dice.
I've been hunting sale. Like I've been watching it, putting it on my to buy list.
I want to play it.
I'm in a mode for co-ops right now, like 2-player co-ops.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's a good one.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna interrupt here. I know I shouldn't.
That's all right.
Sale versus Fox and the Forest duet. Like Fox and the Forest duet did not do it for us, my wife and I. Tell me about sale. Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, Fox and that's right. Fox and the Forest duet. Does that turn it into a co-op, or
It does. It takes it into a 2-player trick-taking co-op.
All right. So Sail is a co-op, but what you're doing is you are navigating a ship from one end of the water to the other end of the water.
All right. I saw the
And-
little tiles that you lay down as a map.
Correct. So you create this map like you push a bunch of little squares together, because this is your typical all-play size box, like the little square box.
Sure, yeah.
So you set it up according to they have like different map layouts that you can set up from like introductory to, you're never going to make it to the end type of maps. And a very high overview is you are playing a trick-taking game and you are trying to navigate your ship through the treacherous things in the water, like the Kraken, rocks sticking up out of the water, and you're trying to make it past these checkpoints in a certain number of rounds, and then finally make it to the end. But the mechanism that is probably the majority of it is each card, depending on the number, there's 3 suits, 1 through 9, I believe, per suit. Each number or set of numbers will have a specific symbol on it. So if there's a combination of symbols that are played for that trick, you will either move your ship, and whoever wins the trick typically the ship will move in their direction at an angle. So like it's kind of moving. It's a diamond.
Yeah, because they're diamonds, not
layout.
squares.
Correct. It's a diamond type layout. So if you can put it in your mind, you're either going like, towards the one person at one end of the table or opposite of you or yourself. So if you win the trick, the ship moves in their direction. And then there's like, you can attack the Kraken. If you run into like the rocks, you're damaging your ship. So you're supposed to make it to the end. I think it's at the end of 5 rounds is the normal one. But once somebody wins 4 tricks, I think it's 4 or 5 tricks, I can't remember, the round ends. So at that point, that's like, the timer for you. And then you go through this whole rigmarole of, I shouldn't say it that way, but you go through this process of like, how much damage is the Kraken doing to your ship? And then you kind of reset the deck. But each person also drew a card at the beginning of the game. So there is asymmetrical powers, like your captain that you're playing. So some of the powers are like, one is you actually draw a new asymmetrical power at the beginning of each round, that type of thing. But anyway, so that's Sail. I enjoy it a lot.
2-player only, though, right?
It is 2-player only, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, the feels as you play it, are there positive game player feels, or are there a lot more moments of negative? So I remember in Fox and the Forest duet, there were very much a lot of negative player experiences. It was very hard to direct which way the token went in Fox and the Forest.
I would say this is, and I haven't played Sky Team yet, but I would imagine this is similar to that, because there are times where it's like you can't like really discuss what you have in your hand, obviously, because but it's kind of like at the beginning of the round, it's like, okay, well, the plan is you're going to have to win at least 2 in a row to get us past this one obstacle, blah, blah, blah. And then as you're playing, it's kind of like, you get to kind of, head in hand type moments. You're like, oh, I thought you had, this card and, blah, blah, blah. So
kind of like the crew, the feeling of the crew, but in 2-player. I like that.
Yeah, kind of like that. I would say yes. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for pausing to talk to me about your number 19.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a lot more to go.
He's adding 2 games this month, so it's going to soon be off the list probably.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm taking it off my Amazon wish list. Done.
All right, so 18. Just getting back to the list. 18, Minnow Dice, Kanban EV, Revive, It's a Wonderful World. Number 14 is Scythe, Guards of Atlantis, Bacon, Hanamakoji. Number 10 is Bone to Pick. Pagan, Fate of Roanoke, which is getting its retail release at Gen Con.
Oh,
a lot of coverage.
Displays there are gorgeous that I've
Yeah.
seen.
Very cool game. So number 8, Brass Birmingham. 7, Circadian's First Light. Robo Trick, Struggle of Empires. Number 4 is Detective City of Angels. 3, Tyrants of the Underdark. The 7th Citadel, and number 1 is Mansions of Madness.
Nice.
All right, so the first game that is getting added this month is Arcs. Oop, and you just saw the second one.
I missed it.
I missed it. I didn't see it.
I missed it.
So Arcs has been getting a bunch of coverage lately. It's like people are calling it Game of the Year, and granted, I've only played it once, so I don't know. I think it's a game you got to play more than once to really get a good feel for it. I did enjoy it, obviously, because it's making my list. But it's not going to get on the board too high. And again, this would definitely change, I feel, with multiple plays. So...
and this is coming from a trick-taking fan, folks, if you're not a regular watcher.
That is true. And, a lot of people kind of go heavy on the trick-taking, like, oh, this is a trick-taking game. It's only... it's a smaller part of the game, in my opinion. Yes, it does allow you to do certain things, but everything is not revolving around this whole trick-taking thing. There's a whole board where you're attacking the other players and trying to steal stuff from their cities and stuff like that. So, but anyway.
No, I would say after we talked about it last week, and then we kind of talked in our Discord channel or chat about it a bit, and I've read a few things or seen another couple of reviews, and it does seem like maybe some of those initial very hype reviews that some other groups, other things are doing, were kind of playing up the trick-taking aspect of this game a little bit, that it's not nearly as dependent upon that as you would think.
Right. Right. I would agree with that. All right. So since I'm adding 2, we already know that sale and mobile markets is coming off. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to slot it in at number 16.
Between It's a Wonderful World and Revive.
I'm going to slot it in there, and I'm just going to move Revive down to 18 because the next game that's going in is going to bump everything down.
Do you see ARCs going up maybe with more plays? Or
Absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt. Okay. I mean, I did enjoy it, but it was more, and again, I do, and I think you guys are as well, we're doing this list off of our feels while we played the game or how we played the game last.
Pretty much.
And I enjoyed it, but it was a lot more of, I'm trying to wrap my head around this game while I'm playing and getting my rear handed to me. But even though I lost, I really did enjoy the game. So
Consummate journalist.
Yeah.
Unbiased opinions.
Unbiased opinion. So one game is actually going to move because I did play Guards of Atlantis last month. And I'm telling you, man, the more I play this game, the more I am enjoying it. So this game is going to bump up a few slots.
Nice.
And I think this is going to, I was thinking about this earlier. This is going to push
the top 10.
Yeah, this is going to be a top 10 game for me.
Breaking into the top 10. Breaking news.
I got to get this played sometime. Guards of Atlantis.
How many players did you play?
This last time we played 4, but you can, I think the most I've ever played it at was 6 because you can play teams, like teams of 2, teams of 3. I think you can play even more. But yeah, and this is, I think, the 5th time I played this game, total 5th or 6th time. And it's finally like, okay, now I know how to get strategies going, and I've been playing new characters to try those out and see which ones I like. Yeah, very, very cool game. It's kind of like a MOBA, like a
massive online
what's the big MOBA?
Player battle arena?
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, Guards of Atlantis is moving up to 10. And the last game that is going on is Isle of Cats.
Oh, wow.
That's a
I
throwback.
haven't played this one in a while. And
Carlos beat us while playing...
Undefeated, baby.
playing...
I was playing Blood Bowl
playing another
the same
game,
time behind me.
right next to us.
They would yell at me, "It's your turn." I'd turn my seat around, move some cats on a boat with some fish, I don't know, and go back to playing Blood Bowl. And ended up winning.
Yep.
Amazing.
Anybody can play this game.
So this one, I think, this one's coming in at number 12.
Nice. Okay.
So it's going to push all these down.
Bump Hanamakoji coming behind Bone to Pick.
Yep. Between Bone to Pick and Hanamakoji. So that's my list. Only 2 games added and 1 move. So Isle of Cats came in at 12. Guards of Atlantis moved up to 10. And then Arcs entered at number 17.
Yeah. Isle of Cats is one that I have never played in person. I've only played it on BGA. And it's like, for some reason on BGA, I just can't get my head around the cards and scoring. Like, I fill my boat. I do the, I fill my boat with cats, and then everyone has got like 100 points, and I'm at like 40. I'm like, I am clearly missing how to score this game, or So I mean, I kind of know. I need to play it in person because I think I would like it. But it's like sometimes you play a game on BGA and you're like, I can't visualize this. I need to see it physically or something like that.
Yeah,
so, it's definitely.
I enjoy the tactile feel of it as well because every round, you're digging into the bag and you're pulling cats out to put them on either side of the island. And when I first heard about that, I was like, oh, you can feel for the size of the cat, but you can't feel any of that shit. You're just grabbing cats and throwing them down, you know. But very enjoyable game for me, at least. It's been a while since I played, and it just kind of brought back all those good feels, getting it back to the table. So, all right. So that is my new top 20. I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot more. I have a feeling.
All right, Wayne, you got 5 minutes before the phone lines open.
Yeah.
Go.
Right.
Dude.
Yeah.
I think
you'll hang over a little bit. That's okay.
Yeah. See, I got 9 games that fell off. 4 games that went on and then fell back off because of other games played. And I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 new games in my top 20 and 1 that moved. So yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm close to that. Yeah,
Let's do that.
It was a busy month, man. Yeah. So I will present.
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yep. I pulled my bottom 8 already. So as a quick thing, Carlos is counting his now. I pulled my bottom 8 off. I'll go over when it's my turn the 8 that came off, and then I'm putting the 8 on just as a preview.
Yeah,
it looks like Carlos has got 7. So
7, yeah.
It was a busy month. One quick thing, real quick.
Yeah,
I did play Terminus. I know I mentioned this in the Discord, but I'm just going to say it so anybody listening. Terminus, not a game for me or my group. It just fell very flat for us.
You might listen to Luke from the Broken Meeple. He did his review on it.
What did he say?
It was very similar review. It was.
You might be seeing this come up in
punishing
in my list here. Yeah.
Punishing, like don't ever make a mistake ever, ever.
It's good.
All right, go for it, man. Sorry.
Like it. No, it's all good. So first the games that fell off, and this was rough because I think I had 56 unique games played in July, right?
Wow.
So there's a lot of games played. So I think, and that's what I'm looking at the games that fell off, and I'm like, man, these are all really good games. So the first one that fell off was Barcelona. I just need to play it again, play it more. I think it would probably jump back on if I played it again, but I enjoyed the plays I had and just need to get back to the table. And then Starship Captains fell off. I think I like the game, but it's very short and it is what it is, right? If you like Star Trek, it's a quick, fun game. My wife and I played it last night. It was like we were done in under like 45, 50 minutes. So it was a quick game. But it probably wouldn't go back on my list, even though I'm going to probably play it a few more times this year. But it's fun. New Bedford, which I love. I think I just need to play it again. It's an old school Euro. I know Carlos has a copy now, so I'm sure we'll get it to the table again.
It's on my wall over there behind Rob.
Yeah,
over there.
Yeah, on the 2-play shelf.
So it just the quality of games played just kind of pushed this down a little bit. Planet Unknown, which is another one I really espouse and love. I've been playing it a ton on BGA. To me, it's the Great Split meets like Barren Park because you're placed in. You don't like it?
It's not that I don't like it, and believe me, when I first got it, this is the only game my wife ever said, "Let's set it back up and play again." Yeah. And I've probably played this game with her more than anybody else. I like it, but a lot of people go crazy over this game, and I'm just like, I don't see the craziness.
Yeah. I like those polyammo placement games and moving up and figuring out how to do that and fill up the planet while going up the tracks. Like I said, it combines to me the similar gameplay elements of the Great Split and Barren Park, which I love both those games. So I get kind of both of those feelings in the same game, which is kind of cool.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't say I'm like goo for gaga over it, but it's a good game. I really enjoy it. I like all the different modules you can play with, and kind of although I don't like the events. The events kind of suck. too negative. Le Havre, great game. Just kind of I need to get it played more, but it's just a classic. It was Uwe, right?
Uwe.
Yep. So it's a good one. Federation, enjoy it. It's a solid game. Just again, more plays probably jump back on. Millefiore, kind of cooling on this one. The more I think about it, I liked it, but like of all the games that fell off the list, if you said pick one to play, this would probably be on the bottom of that list at that point. And then Biblios, solid game. It's kind of always be on my list the first time I play it, and then come off because it ends up being more of a filler game. And a lot of game nights are like, hey, we're looking to kill a few times. Let's bust that Biblios. It's just a solid game, a lot of fun, but it doesn't give that wow factor that other games.
Yeah.
Fleet the Dice game. I've been talking about this one all year. I really like it. Kind of just been slowly going down. I kind of keep looking for a sale of it. Like I kind of want to own a copy of it, but I don't want to pay full retail for it type thing, which is probably why I fell off the list. Yeah. So those are the games that all fell off of my list. The next 4 are games that went on, and then I had to take them back off after I kept adding new games.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. So
we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We did.
On and off.
I'm trying. So Ra, one of the classic Knizia, auction bidding
It touched
games.
the board. It touched the board.
It touched the board. I really enjoyed the play I had at Dice Tower East of it. It's not
That's
my
just because
favorite.
you love Dr. K.
I do like his
Maybe.
games, man. We played at Botswana and Medici, and so yeah, I like all his games. But of his bidding auction games, this is probably my least favorite, although it's an exceptionally solid game. Rec Raiders, which is a kids table board game. I really enjoy this one. I've played it before with Rob and some Nick's kids, and then I played it at Dice Tower East with my kid and Nick and my wife, and I like it. It's a solid game. It hit the list because it's just it hits that game that it's just enough complexity for a gamer like me, but I can play with my kid. And so I'm kind of really espousing those type of games because that's a lot of my gaming. Half of my gaming time is now with my wife and kid, and the other half is with you guys and rest of the Beans and Dice crew. So I have to find games that are both entertaining for me and for my family. So Rec Raiders is on the list. It's one of the more solid ones from kids table board games. Feast for Odin. I liked it. Don't know how much I want to play it. I think it's okay. It's it hit the list. I was like, oh, I really like that, and then I played it on BGA a couple times since then, and I'm like, it's okay. It's still not grabbing me. It didn't work well. It hurt because I played a game on BGA and I literally covered up all the negatives on my board and clicked submit on BGA, and it didn't score it. Like I ended up with like 30 points. I'm like, wait, what happened? It glitched or something. I don't know what happened, but it didn't score all my points. But no, it's okay. I just think it's too much. Like you don't need 72 different worker placement spaces. That's just a little...
You need 82. The expansion. The expansion has more. It does.
I know. Yeah. No, thanks. I'm good.
It actually does. Adds another board. Yeah.
I know. That's dumb. It is too much. I think it's just because what happens you just pick a you're going to go Viking tracker, you're going to go the animal tracker, you're going to go the shipping thing. So eventually you're going to play the game and only go to like 1/3 of the board anyway. So, after your first turn, you basically have your direction in the game. You can ignore, 3/4 of the other of spaces. But so anyway, Feast for Odin, I liked it. Wasn't something I'm itching to go play again. Harmonies, played it several times at Dice Tower East. Liked it. It's okay. I don't think it's Cascadia. It's a couple of the games that it's similar to. So it hits that niche of light games where you're trying to like map out a board and build up buildings or whatever. So anyway, so it was fun, but not enough to stay on my list. So those are all the games that were on the list that fell off and then were on and fell right back off. And I'm gonna try.
Well, here's the thing: like these games have to make your top 10 practically to stay on the list. Because you're adding so many.
I know there's a lot. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these games.
That's why I told Rob the board should be from floor to ceiling. Like,
He wants to do like top 50 over here.
Yeah, we're like, no, we got to limit it. I'm like, I don't want to. I want like 85 games on this board.
Games got to come, got to go.
So it would take an entire show for you to move them all down.
Yeah, just to review them. Here's what my top 100 are.
Yeah. I would say half of these games were probably in the mids. Like I had a lot of games in the 8, 9, 10, 11 that kind of fallen off, this month. But I think this is an aberration because probably the single biggest month of game playing of the year is July, right? Because it's Dice Tower East.
Yes, it just drives the juices for gaming.
Yeah. So usually you're not going to see much movement. This is kind of just a crazy month for me. So number 20, Trekking Through History. Played it, taught it to my family. They love it. The game is. I've never not played this game where people didn't like it. It's fast.
I need to play this.
It's light. I enjoy the history of it. I keep talking about the education with my kid and family and stuff like that. So, Trekking the history hits the table regularly in my household, and we have a lot of fun with it. They're loving it. So, Trekking Through History.
That's good. Definitely a family weight game, but it's good. Yeah,
and I think it fits my family perfectly because I think a 3-player count is perfect because the board
What's that for Carlos.
Rob's like T-shirt tattooed on his chest comment. It's a family weight game.
Oh, it's family weight.
It's a good game. Can we just just give it that stamp?
It's a good family
do we
weight
have
game.
to qualify? It's a family weight game.
Yes, we do.
2 out of 10.
You gotta know what you're getting into. You gotta know what you're getting into.
I think it's 2 players.
Good game.
2 players. The events don't cycle fast enough. At 3 and 4, it cycles good enough, but 3 is like the perfect rate of cards coming through to kind of do your trek. Anyway,
good choice, Wayne. Don't listen to Rob.
Right. Number 19, I put Hegemony.
Family weight game.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
Fantastic. I'll tell you what, the reason why, and so it's a really, really good game. I really thoroughly enjoyed my play of it. I think it's a great game. I love the asymmetric of the 4 factions. The only reason why it's not higher on my list is it's a game that I'm just never going to play a lot. It's in that Twilight Imperium. It's in that, it's probably not a game that I'm going to play 10 times a year. It's going to be a once or maybe twice a year if I'm lucky. And so it was an enjoyable experience, but it's just not something that's going to, come up. And then the next time I play it, if I play a different faction, I'm going to be like, what do I do? Type thing. So, but it was really fun to play with Rob over at the Tampa Gaming Guild. And it was a good to great game.
It's just going to miss my top 20, but it was a good game, yeah.
Yeah.
Too light for Rob.
No, but similar reason, Rob, is a game that
heavy.
you're probably not going to hit. It's not going to hit the table enough to really kind of warrant being there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a game that I'm just not going to play enough. I talked to Carlos about it. He's been itching to play it, and I told him that this is definitely, I would consider this a lifestyle game. A lot of people compare it to Root for the asymmetry and stuff, and I would agree with that. Root, I played twice. I played 2 different factions, and both times I was just stumbling through trying to figure out how my faction worked. Hegemony, however you want to say it, is the same kind of thing. You would need to play the same faction 2 or 3 or 4 times just to start being able to not be so focused on what you're trying to do and trying to figure out how you're stopping the other people or how you're influencing their games. It's a lot going on, and so it's really a game you'd have to play quite a bit.
Yep. All right. Number 18, the White Castle. We've played this a few times now. I'm enjoying it. It went on my wish list of games to buy, so that's kind of why I had to put it on the list. It probably didn't go higher just because I just don't quite know. I feel like the game's over before you get started.
Yeah,
it was
I agree.
The bridges.
I got started, brother, and I finished.
I think it needs one more turn. I think it's almost too fast.
You guys should do. I heard you guys talking about it last week or from last week's show. You should try it and see what happens.
Yeah, play another round, see what happens.
See where the scores go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be good. Anyway, so White Castle really enjoyed it.
I don't know. I had Rob beat by 12 points. I had Wayne beat by 16. I think it ended right at the exact perfect time.
Of course you did.
My number 17 is Maracaibo. That kind of fell down the list.
Good one.
I really, really like this game though. I now own a physical copy thanks to Dice Tower East. So my plan is to play this a couple more times this year, and I can easily see this moving much higher on my list.
I haven't played the physical.
Funny how when this game was first released, everybody was somewhat poo-pooing on it, and now it's kind of gained momentum.
Yeah, it definitely
BGA,
has.
I think BGA implementation helps with that. So.
Yep.
But I think it's the implementation of it or the description of it as Great Western Trail in the Caribbean, and I was like, "Oh, okay, Great Western Trail really didn't do it for me, so it's not even worth looking at."
Yeah, I think that does.
With these two talking, Rob and Wayne talking about it, I'm like, "Oh, it's on my wish list."
It's similar, but it's different enough that it's definitely it's a different game.
Played Great Western Trail and enjoyed it, but was like, okay. I played Maracaibo. I'm like, oh, I like this. This is good.
Yeah,
so
it's
definitely
good. Cool.
Yep. Number 16, First Rat. Kind of a show favorite. Everyone kind of loves First Rat, so I think we've talked about that enough over time. Istanbul, still on my list. I enjoy that one. Just an old school game. You're kind of moving around. You're moving workers around, but the cool thing is you're leaving them behind, and where you end up is what action you take, and you're kind of trading goods and services through Istanbul, trying to get gems. First one a certain amount of gems wins the game. I love the variable board. You can set it up different ways every time, and you have different ways of doing it. So I just like that idea of like putting your workers out, and you can either just reset and go back to the home base area, forget the name of it, or you have to retrace your steps. So if you can plan out the perfect, I'm going to go out this way and do all these actions, and then I can go backwards with it and hit them all up again. You can really kind of maximize your movement and time. So I like that one. Blood Rage, we've talked about that. It's been slowly sliding down my list this year. So maybe we just need to get another play of it in. But we've talked about that. Yep. Captain Sonar was at one point my number one.
I'm glad to see it starting to
settle in.
Yeah, to where it belongs.
Yeah,
I love Sonar. Don't get me wrong.
No,
I love some Sonar.
But I've told you, like you talk about, everyone's doing. I'm doing this based on my enjoyment of the gameplay I had. Right? How much did I enjoy the game I played? And that I love getting an experience to play Captain Sonar, full complement of people with a full Beans and Dice crew. That was just it was fun. It's probably like everyone's laughing and talking and arguing, and I love that. That's good. So
good stuff.
Yep. Number 12, Sky Team hitting up there.
Surprised this didn't hit higher for you.
It might be the 2-player aspect of it that's keeping it from going up super high. But I really enjoy this game. It's fun. It's stressful. I mostly play it on BGA with Rob. That's we kind of have just this game going,
ongoing forever game.
As soon as we finish one, we go to the next, and it's stressful because as we've been all the green ones we crank through, and we're on the orange, and we've tried a couple of the reds and stuff, and some of them are really hard. You have to have just perfect dice rolls every time, and that's where I think it could be like. There was one that I think we did like we tried like 8 different times,
7 or 8 times,
7 or 8 times, and it was getting a little like, oh, this might be impossible. Or not impossible, but like you have to have like perfect dice rolls, to defeat some of those like really high end ones, and that kind of maybe just takes away a little bit. Like if you don't get perfect dice rolls, there's no way you're finishing this board. And so
it's a fun puzzle, though.
Yeah, it's a fun puzzle. I like the puzzle of it, but I think it would be higher if there was even at the highest level of it, the hardest levels. If it didn't require perfect die rolls, then it would be like a super hit for me. But like the fact that like you just have to have, okay, if I don't have a 1, a 4, a 5, and a 6, and these 4 dice, we're crashing. A little bit of luck there on some of it, but I like Sky Team. It's going to win a lot of awards this year, I think. Maglev Metro, we played a horrible game of it at Dice Tower.
Yeah, I ruined that game for you, but I'm glad to see you still put it up there. But
I put it up there because again, enjoyment, like just seeing
the
enjoyment of Rob's frustration.
Oh yeah, just drawing
like,
and drawing
I'm
and
just gonna
drawing.
keep drawing from this bag, and then it's like 7 draws. I'm like, Rob, are there even robots in there that you need? No, there aren't.
It's like 4 rounds wasted drawing robots. Yeah.
And then to say they and I've played it a bunch, you played a bunch, Dan played it a bunch, and then my buddy Michael, who had never played it before, he crushed us.
Yeah.
And like Dan had to redo half of his track because he misdid it, so he had to like take turns to undo it. And Rob is pulling too many things. I got stuck on the far end of on my own track, where Michael was right next to Rob and just kept picking up all the guys he took.
Go back and forth, back and forth. Yeah.
So it was a very it was a bad play because we just all played very subpar, but it was an enjoyable play because it was a train wreck, and you were having train wrecks sometimes.
It wasn't Maglev's fault.
No pun intended.
No, we ruined that sucker. But it was fun though. Yeah.
It was fun. Pokemon Splendor hitting my top 10. This replaces Splendor for me. Like it's shipping from South Korea as we speak.
Nice.
my own copy of this game. I like Splendor. I've played Splendor a ton. I love Splendor. I like Splendor Duel. I love it all. But this version of it replaces base Splendor for me. I love the concept of it's the original Pokemon, and in that first row, when you get a card from that first row, at some point later, if you have the correct Pokeballs, you can upgrade or evolve that guy to the second row, and then you can evolve the person to the third row. I just like the way it plays. I love the way it looks and feels. And this is one that, for my family, I know that my wife and my kid and my mother, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, this will be a hit with them because of the theme and the way it works. So I'm excited. Pokemon Splendor hits my number 10.
Nice.
Number 9, Pan Am, solid game. Love it. Love the theme of it. It fell a little bit because I have a couple more new ones above it, but I will play Pan Am anytime anyone wants. Let's go to Japan.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, this is coming. This might go higher even. I haven't bought it yet because I'm still trying to talk myself into spending in the 120 to buy like
Diego did.
Like Diego did, the super deluxe with the bowls and the mats and everything.
Nice.
It's I could buy the retail version for 40, but then I don't get the cool tokens and the bowls and so I'm waffling, and I might I could wait till Christmas and maybe get put it on my wish list and get my family to buy it for me, and then I didn't spend the $120 they did, right?
Yeah.
But
is there an upgrade pack for it? Like if you buy the base and then
no, there's retail, which retail is very nice, and I'm probably just gonna.
The retail's great.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna buy the retail,
nice chunky wood pieces.
Yeah. Then there's the upgraded version has neoprene mats. It comes with these 4 resource bowls that look like little Japanese rice bowls that have "Let's Go to Japan" in the thing, and it has all the Bake Light tokens and those things. I don't need. I'm probably just gonna buy the retail, although I'm gonna.
You'd be happy if you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely will love this game, and I know my wife will love this game. She will just be all about it.
Good.
Number 7 is Creature Comforts that moved down a little bit for me. I think I had it higher in previous months. Still love it. This is, the knock on this game that people say is it's a little long. I haven't seen it. I think it plays pretty quick. I like the worker placement. It's a very like Rob would say, it's a family weight worker placement game.
Yeah.
Family weight game, but I enjoy it. I love the artwork. It's the kids table board games. I'm kind of like them and the trekking people. I forget the name of their companies, like Underdog Games or something like that. I could be wrong, but those are like my two favorite kind of companies right now because they produce games that I enjoy to play.
Underdog.
Is it Underdog? Yeah, Underdog Games.
Underdog. Yep, there it is. Yep.
So I think Kids Table Board Games, Underdog Games, for me, those two companies are hitting out of the park right now as far as games that I would enjoy to play as a gamer that my family can play with me. And it's not like I'm playing Uno, right? These are good games. These are thinky games. These are family weight, but they're complex enough to stimulate me and keep me entertained. And so I really enjoy Creature Comforts. Number 6, Lords of Waterdeep, classic game, love it. Just need to keep playing it because I love this game. Number 5, Mansions of Madness, which we've talked about a ton and is Mike's number 1. Number 4, Lost Ruins of Arnak. I played it this past weekend with some friends and just reminded how much I love it. It's Indiana Jones, the board game. It's right up there with as far as one of the best games out there. And played it with a couple of my friends. It was their first time playing it. And immediately after it was like they were all like, "Oh, this is a good game. Why have you not played this with us yet?" I'm like, "I don't know, dude, because I got 500 games. I keep bringing different games.
Play them all.
They're like, bring this one again next time. We're gonna need to play this again." So yeah, it's gonna hit the table, I'm sure, a bunch more. And I 3D printed some upgrades to the coins and compasses, so I don't have the cardboard anymore. So it's just a solid game, and I really want to get the newest expansion has that campaign mode, so I definitely want to get that's on my wish list. So number 3, Village, Inca and Marcus Brandt. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the Brandts, solid game. I know Rob played this with me. This is a really cool worker placement game because you're basically all working to build this village and kind of have the village be successful. But the concept is, as you use your workers, you can either train up a worker and use time, which as time moves around your worker board, when you pass midnight, basically that a worker passes away, worker dies. So it's like the worker placement game where you can kill your workers by working them too hard.
Let's say retire.
They kill them. They go to the grave.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. You're retiring them from life, but
life. Yeah. So no, it's a cool concept of because you can either pay resources to do what you want to do, or you can pay time, and you have to balance that and where your workers are. Because if you have a worker in the church and you've worked them all the way up to the top of the church, if they die, then you don't get the victory points for that worker, right? You may get victory points for where they died, and as far as the annals of the history of the village. It's a really fun game, very solid worker placement game that I think it won the Kennerspiel this year, a while back.
Okay.
Number 2, new game,
nice.
Manhattan Project Energy Empire. This game just is so good. I don't know.
It's good.
I'm so mad that I did not buy this game years ago. I remember having Manhattan Project and Manhattan Project Energy Empire on my Amazon wish list for board games for years and never bought them. And then they went out of print and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not getting those. And then we played it at Carlos's. Rob brought a copy over and we were like, this game's awesome. And I went out and bought I found a copy from a game store in New York that was still in shrink, brand new. They still had copies.
Nice.
And it's solid game. Love it. It's just, it sings. We played it with 5.
Yeah, it was 5, I think. Yeah.
5, full player count, and it was fine. So it really is a game that can play multiple player counts. So Manhattan Project Energy Empire, my number 2, and then number 1 is Dune Imperium.
Oh, good one.
Yep.
Solid.
Staying up there.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Hyphen.
Hashtag Imperial.
Dune Imperium. I don't have that.
None of the other crap. I agree.
So Dune Imperium, Manhattan Project Energy Empire, Village, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Mansions of Madness, Lords of Waterdeep, Creature Comforts, Let's Go to Japan, Pan Am, Pokemon Splendor, Maglev Metro, Sky Team, Captain Sonar, Blood Rage, Istanbul, First Rat, Maracaibo, The White Castle, Hegemony, and Trekking Through History. My top 20.
There you go. Just remind anybody who's tuning in, we're opening the phone line. So if you want to call in now,
9:30-ish. I changed the banner to ish.
ish. Yeah. So if you want to call in and comment, if you've been watching on Mike or Wayne's lists, tell them where they're right, tell them where they're wrong. Carlos and I will be hitting ours next. But for those just joining, this is our top 20 games played so far this year. We're updating our list for games in July, which I think for most of us has been our biggest month of the year for playing games. Sounds like maybe not Mike, but for the other three of us, Dice Tower East had a lot to do with that.
And then the purchases from Dice Tower East, like coming home to get those played.
For sure. Yep.
All right, Rob, I'll go first. And
We'll
we'll
go first.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll let you finish off there.
All right. Sounds good.
We've got our
Real
board.
quick, if you're
Die.
watching this on YouTube, give it a thumbs up.
Yeah,
I don't
that
see
too.
enough thumbs in there.
All that good stuff.
Or comment like our buddy Aaron did.
Hey,
Aaron Clark out of
Aaron.
Ohio says, I need to get Arnak to the table again with both expansions. Though the box is overflowing, need a good organizer.
Yeah, I'm playing this constantly on
sorry.
BGA. So I really want to get the co-op version.
I've got it there right there in Shrink. I need to get it played.
Yeah.
I'm about to. I'm going to be doing a 3D printing an organizer for it.
Oh, nice.
With expansions or
Yeah,
just
I have one. I got one that can fit all the expansions. So I'm
'cause I got the two
gonna
expansions
I'm
too.
going to future-proof it to print one that has the next.
Hey, let me know how much for PLA in time.
Carlos wants one too.
Yeah, I'd be down. I'm starting to coming back from Dice Tower has changed my perspective a little bit on organization skills. For the first time in the many years that I've
For
been
the
to Dice
first time
Tower,
Ever.
I've
For the first
Mike,
time in
He started late. Like so, I don't. If you listen to the show last week, Mike, I don't know if we talked about how at Dice Tower all the games when you take the baggies out, like if you look at the red player, it had a sticker red player. If you
Perfect.
bag blue player, green player, coins. What every bag in every game was labeled with like a label maker, right? So either Camilla or Wendy or somebody at the Dice Tower just went nuts, right?
Nice.
We come to play the White Castle and we're taking it out, and Carlos has already got it labeled.
The labeled
He's got
baggies.
labeled baggies.
yellow,
How cute.
green.
Very nice, man.
I still have not dived into my copy of Champions of Midgard to fix how I left it. I still got to fix that
It's
out.
a mess, I'm sure.
Kyle Jeeves says I missed Mike's list. Yes, you did.
out.
It's a good list.
Have to go back.
You'll have to rewind and watch again. We got BJ Board Game Gumbo saying what's up all the way out of Louisiana
And Jim.
And Jim from a ship.
from
the
a
ship.
boat.
He's on a ship renewing his vows with his wife right now.
Getting
so,
games in though.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
think he
yeah, a
posted
little bit.
pictures of
He's
games.
playing games on the
And
ship.
he's watching our show.
Paying that extra money for that internet.
Yeah.
Getting remarried while watching our show.
Exactly. That's
Congratulations.
priorities.
I don't.
I think
don't
it's his 20th, is
Yeah.
it?
I
I think it's
right.
his
Yeah, I think it was
20th, and they're
yeah.
renewing their vows. Congratulations,
Congratulations,
man.
Jim.
Nice.
You got to assume though that by watching the show while he's on his wedding vow renewal is probably not helping that extra calyx find its way into the room.
Yeah, probably not. But I think he has people moving that in while they're out of town. So
Yeah.
I did commit to fixing the cameras, and I did it. Look, we got all 4 cameras in. We got us, we got me, we got that guy, and the board.
Nice.
So we got all 4
Another one
cameras
going-
set up.
Another
We
one
can
going
even
other
read
way.
the board too.
can you? Can you
That's
read
my
it?
hope.
Yeah. Can you see that thing?
Yeah.
I'm trying. Because I did move the studio over to the dining room. Mike, if you remember, the laser cutter was in the dining room, not in the game room.
Mhm.
So we moved the studio into the dining room, and I've got a chandelier like light thing up there, so I clamped the camera up to it. So the only problem is it shows the thinning of the top of my head. So I'm wearing a hat.
Priorities.
Oh,
Hard
my
stuff.
vanity hit me hard.
Hey, we're gonna have to start
Yeah.
writing better. Our handwriting kind of. Now you can actually see it.
Yeah, my handwriting is horrible.
Get a 5th camera facing the other way, and then we're good to go.
No, we can always take one of these and aim it the other way.
All right, you want me to? I'll post while you talk.
No, I got it.
You think
It's,
you do
it's not
both?
that far.
Or you can talk from here?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm wearing a hat. They don't have
Okay.
to see the
We got,
balding spot.
we got Sam checking in, saying hello, and then
Oh,
Mr. Jeeves
hello.
saying he loves the camera setup, and BJ saying this is professional.
I would not say
Not call it
that.
that. No.
No pressure. I don't need any of that pressure.
Very amateur here. Very
Yes.
amateur. Yes.
Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly it. I'm getting my list of games up because I like to put them up there as I played them.
Oh.
That's the order I like to put them in. So so we're talking about Dice Tower, right? Out of Dice Tower, what came out of Dice Tower? Let's see. On this list, we talked about everything we played. So out of Dice Tower, The games that I played that will go in order is going to be Thunder Road Actually, I'm sorry. No, War of the Ring was the one I played first. War of the Ring is going on the board first. War of the Ring, the card game. I should.
Yeah,
how do I put that on there? We got a Sharpie.
TCG. Squeeze it at the end there. TCG.
TCG.
Is it a TCG? It's not a trading card
Well,
game.
it's the card game.
The card game. So
Oh,
TCG.
yeah.
I'm just yeah.
What I will say about War of the Ring, the card game, was the experience is what's getting it on the board. Period. Flat out. Like the experience of playing this game with the people I played it with. It was William, it was Dan, and it was Nick Oben. That experience right there of those fellas getting that gameplay was so much fun. Like working on Dan's team to try to beat those two, and all the arguing we did, the yelling at each other, the conniving, like the long shots for the battles made it so much fun to play. What really hurts me about this game is it's such a tough teach for some reason, and it has to do with the special nature of the cards.
Yeah.
Like it makes me feel like almost like Hegemony, what you guys are talking about. It's a great game, but getting it to the table, I know it's going to be special occasions with certain groups of people.
Yeah.
Almost a lifestyle game. So for that reason, it's going to not make the top 10. It's not breaking top 10, but I will at this point tentatively place it in the 16 spot.
16. Okay. And I was saying, do we care, or are you going to go over the games that came off your board?
Oh, yeah. Let me give you the games that came off. Number 20 that came off was Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Number 19, Scout. Number 18 was Adrenaline. Number 17, Quacks. 16, Endeavor, Age of Sail is coming off.
That's a tough one.
That hurts.
It was played as 2-player this year.
Oh, okay.
It was played 2-player.
Different experience.
So the
explains
experience is different.
Okay.
Zombie Side is coming off 2nd edition. And then finally Watergate, the 2-player game, which was, I really enjoyed it, but it's got to go.
Yep.
All right, here we are. We're at Dice Tower, and we're playing games. Right after we played some War of the Ring, Dan taught us Thunder Road Vendetta. Thunder Road Vendetta is breaking the top 10. Woo! So we're going to bring down Sky Teams.
Sky Team coming down to 15.
Final
Girl to 14. Wildlands sliding to 13 for the moment. Mansions of Madness down to 12. Hadara going to 11. Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North to 10. Heat Pedal to the Metal to 9. And are we settling in here at 8, 7?
Yeah, that Blood Rage, man, that's a hard line to cross.
Yeah, it is. So Thunder Road Vendetta right now at 7. Underneath Blood Rage at 6.
Which the other ones might
slide around a
might
little.
slide around a little bit. We'll see from there.
Okay.
At Dice Tower, I also got to play some War Chess. War Chess phone lines are open, 813-618-7099. It's a number. Feel free to interrupt me. We do have the phone on, right? Checking on. Okay, good.
People are listening. They want to hear the top 20.
War Chest. Played this with William, 2-player game. We played with the expansion that included the nobles, the decrees. So it adds this sideboard of extra actions. You get 3 tokens, and you get to spend 1 token on each extra action 1 time during the game to let you do these game-breaking rules, and it adds that extra strategic depth, almost like how Seven Wonders Duel had Pantheon added.
Oh, yeah.
Which added the ability to kind of pass or do something else to change the cadence of the game.
Yep.
These extra actions allow you to do that.
Yep.
So whereas War Chest kind of feels back and forth, kind of a nice tempo to it, adding the nobles, the decrees expansion, the nobility expansion, really adds a little change to the tempo.
Just something else to think about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, he can hit me with 2 actions back to back. Better watch out.
Yep.
For that reason, it's not going to break my top 10.
We're going to slide around a little bit. Ooh. All right. War of the Ring, Sky Team, Final Girl, Wildlands.
Number 13, War Chest.
Mansions of Madness at 12, 13 War Chest, 14 Wildlands for the moment.
All right, so that gets me out of Dice Tower for the games that I played at Dice Tower and enjoyed. But as soon as I got home from Dice Tower, wifey and I busted out a play of the White Castle. Not a White Castle, not some White Castle, the White Castle.
The University of Miami.
And after we got over...
1-1.
Just push everything down. After we got done doing all the jokes about the burger joint, we got a game of the White Castle in, and I could not wait to get it to the table with you all. And it really confirms the quality of this game. I think wifey and I have played it maybe 4 or 5 times at this point. Just us on like regular work nights, like post dinner. It has taken the place of Furnace for me. Furnace was my go-to weeknight, get a Euro-y crunchiness in under an hour. The White Castle beats that.
Okay.
The question has there ever been a White Castle down here in Florida? Like
Orlando, we
Orlando
drove
has
by
one,
one in
yeah.
Orlando.
Yeah.
yeah, so
Orlando.
none of you guys have actually ever had White Castle.
I have.
yeah.
Well, not
Yeah,
with
okay,
crystals.
okay.
I don't need White Castle.
I've had
when I
White
got
Castle.
crystals.
Crystals is
There used
garbage.
to be one in Miami too.
We did
Was
a
a White
Dice Tower
Castle.
a couple years ago. We made a trip over to the White Castle.
Oh yeah, White Castle's so good. If you want to die, but it's good.
Yeah, it's good. Get the 6-pack of burgers and some fries.
Like we used to go like order like 100 for like a group of us.
Oh yeah, we had 4 or 5 of us went. We ordered close to 100 of them. So yeah.
Jesus criminy, man.
Here we go. White Castle going at 4.
Number 4
That's
for the White Castle.
Bumping down Dune Imperium Uprising : / and just under Thunder Alley at number 3 currently.
And
That's
Damn
crazy.
right.
Mostly my
Damn right.
love of Thunder Alley prevents that line from
I got to
being
play
broached.
Thunder Alley.
I don't know.
then-
Dune is better than White Castle, but that's my opinion. Your opinion is
Yeah.
cool.
That's only
I
because I
like-
whooped your ass by 16.
Wow.
You played it like 10 times in a week.
I was like, let's go, honey. Let's do it again. Let's get some practice in. Bobby's got to whoop these guys. All right, Regicide. Regicide is coming on my list. It is a 1 to 4 player cooperative game, all done with one deck of standard playing cards, folks.
I know why this is going on your list.
Because
you know exactly
Because
why.
you finally beat it after all these years.
Had he not won,
For that reason alone, it's got to touch the list. It's going to 20.
Oh, it's going to 20. All right.
It's touching the list.
It's going to be there for a moment.
Yep, it'll be there at least for this month. Regicide, it earned a spot. I finally got my win. But and I get it. There's so many solitaire games and games like this, cooperative games, where it really does end up on the die roll or the flop or the card draw that really makes a difference on whether you win or not. But the good cooperative / solo games of that ilk make you feel like you did it, right?
Yeah.
So Sky Team, right? We get it. A lot of it has to do with did we roll the right numbers when we needed to roll the right numbers. But when you leave, you felt like not only did I roll the right numbers, but I also placed them in the right order. If it wasn't for that, the whole thing could have been like kabut, gone, kaput. That's how it felt with Regicide. Like, as much as I want to say I won, it definitely could have been the card draws, how they came when they came.
The deck of
But
cards let you win.
Right.
The cards worked with me.
I felt like I did it. So
Yeah,
I will
hey,
accept
man,
it.
That's all that matters.
And then this past weekend, we had my niece stay over. So we busted out some games this weekend with the family. Started off with some Century Golem. So this is Matsuki, the Century Spice Road game done in the Golem edition, the gorgeous edition, the right edition, like no other.
Sure.
Holy crap, this game is good.
It is
like,
good.
how is this that we, like, even
This
playing
is
with
this is my go-to gateway game.
Yeah, it's a good one. I've introduced a lot of people to games with it. Yep.
Yep.
2 out of 10.
go
Yep. That's why it's hit number 18. 18 out of 20.
Holy cow, this game's good. 18 out of 20.
it is good. It made top 20.
That is top 20 of the year. Yeah.
This is true.
He's
Top
played-
20s are hard, man.
He's played
They
25
are.
games. Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, I see this one as a rising star. See what I did there? Star Wars Pandemic. It's actually called Star
Century
Wars:
goes
The
to
Clone
19
Wars.
already.
It's got the slot open.
and that's just because of the 2-player nature of it. So I'm not really going to get deep into talking about my play because I want to get through this before the phones ring. And let Rob have an opportunity. But the feeling that I got out of this Star Wars Pandemic is my favorite Pandemic game is probably still Fall of Rome. That's still probably my favorite Pandemic. That's mostly theme.
Yeah.
This Pandemic did a really good job of implementing the Star Wars world. And I know that it wasn't a Leacock design himself. It was based on the Leacock world. They did a really good job of bringing it down to the target box level,
Okay.
but still allowing for difficulty. We lost. And I think it mostly has to do with us being at a 2-player game. Because every mission that you have to beat, instead of getting enough cure to cure disease, getting like sets of colors, turning them in for a cure of a disease, you need to go to a certain planet, which is the mission planet, and then beat a mission. There's a die you have to roll, but it's not as swingy as you think. I think it's like not a 20, not a 12. I'm not quite sure what size die this thing is.
Some odd number.
It is an odd number die. I'm gonna put it here, 19.
Question mark.
Yeah.
But I'll say it's I'm gonna go find out how many faces are on that die.
Count those faces.
But the spread of symbols are more like Star Wars X-wing.
Okay,
Right, so it's more symbols than numbers.
Like hits, misses, and
Yes, and the spread is not huge, right? You either get 0 on a few faces, at best you'll get 3 successes. So the range is not great. How am I saying that? Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
like there's
kinda tight,
randomness,
yeah.
but it's not like a huge bell curve like you would get with 2d6, right? 2d6 you can get anywhere from 2 to 12, tending to bell average on 7. You're not going to see that with this game. You kind of know what you're getting when you get into a mission battle or an attack battle. Like, you might take a damage and you might have a success. It's a good day if you get 3 successes with no damage. It's a bad day when you get 2 damage and no successes. You see what I'm saying? So it's not that huge of a spread. You can mitigate that. But at 2 players, you're at any level, you need more than 1 Jedi to complete a mission. Like, you need you and your Jedi friends to go attack a mission. But at 2 players, somebody's got to go and like put down the Clone Wars, right? Because much like regular Pandemic, if you can't place the cube on the board, the cube being these adorable little droid minis, like really tiny droid minis. If you can't place a droid mini on the board, or if you can't place one of those blockade runners, the ships that the Banking Federation had, or whatever they were,
Federation, Trade Federation.
Yeah, the Trade Federation had. If you can't place one of those pieces, then it moves the threat. That's how we lost. We lost because we couldn't place droids down. We couldn't place the blockades down. It wasn't because we lost the mission. So somebody's got to go around and keep that
clock.
separation, was it separatist war down, while the other person tried to get the missions, but they needed help. So it was a lot of push and pull, a lot of decisions to make. I can see at 3-player probably a little easier. So I can see this rising with more play. Star Wars, The Clone Wars, a Pandemic series game.
Nice.
I need to play this.
Here's with your top 20 then. You want to run down them?
Oh, here's my top 20. There's the board. Top 20. Number 1, Terraforming Mars. 2, Concordia. Number 3, Thunder Alley. Number 4, The White Castle. Number 5, Dune Imperium Uprising. Number 6, Undaunted. Number 7, Blood Rage. Number 8, Thunder Road Vendetta. Number 9, Heat, Pedal to the Metal. Number 10, Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North. Number 11, Hadara. Number 12, Mansions of Badness. Number 13, War Chest. Number 14, Wildlands. Number 15, Final Girl. Number 16, Sky Team. 17, War of the Ring, the card game. Number 18, Century Golem Edition. Number 19, Star Wars Pandemic. And rounding out, and number 20, Regicide.
There you go. Nice list.
Good list.
Yeah, way to go. All right, let me sneak mine in here, and then hopefully we can get some phone calls in. I'm going to start real quick just by running through. I'm going to try to do this fairly rapid fire. The games that came off of my list, so I mentioned I'm adding 8. Did I say 8? Yep, so I've got 12 of them still up there. The ones that have come off are Camel Up, For the King and Me, also known as Biblios, but a slightly better version, I believe. The Quest for El Dorado has come off. Voidfall. Hollywood Blockbuster, Wayne's more preferred Knizia bidding game, To Raw, which is going to show up on my list here in just a moment. Eclipse Second Dawn is slipping off the list here. Mission Red Planet, a game I love, but just not quite going to stay on the list, just falling off. And then the very last game that was the highest rank that's coming off my list, and I know this hurts Wayne a little bit, is First Rat. So where's this? There it is, First Rat. So that's just barely going to slip off. One game I decided to add here at the last minute is going to bump First Rat off the lists, but anyway, let's. I played 2 games, replayed 2 games on my top 20 list, and so they actually happen to be my number 1 and my number 2. Both played at Dice Tower. I played Endeavor: Age of Sail, and I played Blood Rage.
Changes?
So there are going to be some changes. I am going to slip them down a little bit, not much,
Hey,
but
so.
Yeah, it's just a tiny bit. So in thinking about it, you're going to help me out? I appreciate it. So Dune Imperium is going to slide up to number 1. It's just even though I haven't played it, in retrospect and my experiences, Blood Rage, I kind of mentioned in a show a couple weeks ago when we got into Dice Tower, I had a particularly bad play of Blood Rage at 5 players at Dice Tower. Teaching some new people and some people I didn't know, and it kind of tainted that a bit. But Wayne's itching to play it again, so I would definitely like to get a play with us again together, whoever's here locally, and see if I can bump it back up to the top. But the more I think about Dune is just such a solid game. So I love me some Dune.
Dune's clearly going to be probably both of our number one by the end of the year, and it'll be in our Hall of Fame. So
retired to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I think so.
All right. So did you play Endeavor Age of Sail again?
I did. I played it we taught William. I played it with Dan, and we played it with a guy who was just walking around who saw us setting it up and wanted to jump in with us. And it was a pretty good play. William ended up beating us, so his first time ever. He was pretty tickled that he played for the first time and beat us in it. But it was kind of a flat play. I don't know why in particular, because I love me some Endeavor. And so again, it hasn't gone far. I mean, it's going from 1 to 2, and it's just because I think more of that is just my thoughts on Dune. And just even though I haven't played Dune super recently, anytime Dune comes out, I'm ready for a game of Dune. Endeavor also, but Dune is just such a solid game for me.
I know they're not necessarily similar, right, as far as gameplay, but theme-wise, Endeavor Age of Sail and Maracaibo to me, if you put them both down, I think I would gravitate towards Maracaibo.
Really?
Yeah, because the theme, though, it's I like the theme of both of them. That Mediterranean, the age of piracy, that type of stuff. But
yeah. Contrary to popular belief, the reason I like Endeavor is I like the theme and I like the simplicity of it. It's a game that you can teach in just a couple of minutes because everything's printed right there on the board. The steps are right there on the board. The game plays pretty quickly. Even at 4 players, we played in an hour or less. And so, I mean, it's a pretty quick moving game, and it's pretty simple. You're just placing chits out on a board. You're trying to make connections, and you're just trying to score some points. And so it's pretty.
Does the new re-theme that's coming out?
The underwater one?
Yeah, the underwater one.
I haven't heard too much about it.
I don't think it's a re-theme, though. I think this is all new mechanisms.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought it was basically just a re-theme.
Because it looks like the board is made randomly, cards come out and make the actual board, and
heard it's definitely different. It's got some similarities, but I've heard it's definitely a different game. So
I'm still very interested in it, though.
Yeah, I'm interested in hearing more about it and seeing more about it. I don't assume it's out yet. I seem to have thought maybe it did sneak out, but maybe not.
It's Gen Con release.
I think I heard one review.
Okay,
so far, I can't remember who was that reviewed it, but I do recall seeing one review.
I was gonna say I thought
very least they're demoing it at Gen Con.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought I had heard that people were liking Endeavor better.
I think it was a Secret Cabal talked about it, not in this recent week's episode, but last week's episode.
Okay. Gotcha. So it's fresh and hot. So we'll see. Hopefully more about that soon. But any case, so we're going to make just that change. So Dune's going to slide up to number 1 from my 3. Endeavor's going to slide to 2, and Blood Rage sliding down to 3. Right now on my list, Destinies is 4, Castles of Burgundy 5, Undaunted 6, Imperial Settlers 7, Underwater Cities 8, Comic Hunters 9, Village 10, Barcelona 11, and Ethnos 12. I didn't do these in any particular order other than I think I'm going to do them from bottom to top. I think it'll be easier for me to do my list that way. A game I played at Dice Tower, we talked about, all of us have talked about it quite a bit here, was Skyrise, a game that I liked quite a bit. So it's going to touch my list. It's going to go on at 20. I mentioned that my second play of this at Dice Tower fell a little flat. First play I was really enamored by it. The second play was a different experience, and so I'm kind of curious to see how this holds up over multiple plays. But it's definitely a really cool looking game, a lot of table presence, and it's just unique in some of the things that it does. And so I think it's a game everybody should play at some point. But Skyrise hit my board at 20. So appreciate the help, but I think my arms are just long enough to reach here, so I could probably slide these around. Next one for me is going to be a game that just fell off of Wayne's list. Is going to be, there's the camera, Ra. So Ra is going to make my list. I think this is my favorite of the 3. It's Wayne's least favorite of the 3 Reiner Knizia popular bidding games.
They're all close, though. I mean, it's not like there's a huge difference in my mind between the 3. It's just,
Yeah, all real similar. This one's going to make my board at number 19, so it's going to go on. Don't know that it'll stay there a long time. I got to play it some more. I've only played this actually twice, even though I own a copy of it. I played it once at Michelle's house. We had a game over there at a game day months ago, and then I've got to get a chance to play it again with Wayne at Dice Tower. And we played it 3-player, which I think I definitely like it bigger player counts, probably 4 or 5, but fun game, fun bidding game. I like it quite a bit. So next one is going to be a little controversial here. I don't know if y'all can read that. Terminus is going to make my board. So,
all right, I'm dropping, guys.
Yeah, there you go. Good night, Mike. Good night. See you later. So, we had a great time. I played this at TGG, the Tampa Gaming Guild. I played this with 3 other pretty hardcore Euro players. And I was thinking about it while you were talking about it, Mike. I don't know that I have played a game that lasted about 3 hours. maybe not quite that long, but we were learning it. It was the first time for all of us that was playing, all 4 of us, all 5 of us. I'm sorry, it was a 5-player. I think it was 5 players maximum count. We played at maximum count. But in any case, I don't know that I've heard people in mid-game say more times, this game is good. I mean, that just kept coming out of people's mouths while we played it. This game is so good.
Really?
So it's not going to be really high on my list because I need to play it again. It is very thinky. It is. Yeah, it's very complex. There's a lot of little moving parts to it. There's a lot of needing to plan ahead and make sure that when you hit these certain spots around the board,
you
that
better be ready to do those actions.
Exactly. You have to have the right resources. So you have to plan that when I come around, you're basically just going around a circle of actions.
Rundown,
you can, you can stop everybody. It's worker placement, kind of. Well, it's action selection, I guess, not really worker placement, because you don't block each other at all. Everybody could stop at the first stop. Everybody could stop at the second stop. And as you're moving around, you're collecting these resources to later in that rondelle starting to build these they're not railroads, they're
subways,
whatever you want to call
lines.
it.
Yeah, subway lines out on the board.
It's theme agnostic.
Exactly, yeah. So you're just building lines on a board and putting stuff together. You've got some objectives that change from game to game, but this is very much resource management, making sure you're right. It can be punishing. You only have 3 trips around this board in each year, and then you have 3 years played, and so you only have 3, 6, 9 times around the board. Rounds. Yeah. And you've got to maximize those. You really can't make a big mistake. You've got to make sure you've got the right resources. You can pay for the right things. You can trade the right things. That each time you come around, you can cash them in to do what you want to do. So I see what you're saying.
We're going to talk about this later.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. But it's going to go on my board. It is going to go right now at 18, so that doesn't sound like it's as much as I'm talking it up. But this is a game that is complex enough. It's going to take me a few more plays to really start figuring it out, and I could only see this rising from 18. It's not one of those, if I play it again, it's not going to fall off. It's going to start climbing up the board. So, but there we go, 18. And I've been hearing some good reviews, contrary to, I guess, what Carlos is hearing. I've heard a lot of good chat about that one, but my next one, another game, I've talked about this one. Nick, we broke out his copy of Too Many Bones. This is one that absolutely, as I play this more, will definitely climb the board. This is a dungeon crawler that just has so many unique little things going on. The poker chips, just the tactileness of this game, the rolling dice, the neoprene boards, plugging dice in, different combinations, the asymmetry between the heroes of comboing these dice to do different things. I mentioned last time William playing the bombardier, having to put the fuse in the bomb and build the bomb and get the right ingredients, roll the dice in the right order to assemble the bomb, and then throw the bomb into combat to blow stuff up. I mean, just really so thematic. Each character plays so different, and just really cool stuff. So this one, again, is going to go on at 17, so down here near the bottom, but this one absolutely, with a second play, a third play, this one's definitely going to rise up the board. So
when I heard you played this, I was like, this one's going to make his top 20 without a doubt.
Yeah, that's up there. So I'm going to slide a couple down. I'm going to slide... One of my favorite all-time games, Ethnos, is going to slide. This just needs to get played again, but I'm going to slide it to 16 right now. So that's coming down. Barcelona is going to go to 15. Barcelona. I think Barcelona may fall off my list if I get to play it again. I need to play it again to remind myself of how good it was, but I see this one slowly sliding down and some other stuff maybe sliding past it.
Yep. It fell off my list completely this month, so...
Yeah. I think maybe it's just for lack of playing it. I haven't played it in a little while, so I need to play it again. I played it twice before, but I don't know. The third time is either gonna put it back on the list or it may cement it, so sliding off the list. But we'll see. I need to go one more play with Barcelona. Village. Wayne talked about Village. It was in my 10. This one's going to slide down to 14, still in a pretty solid spot, but Village is going to slide down a little bit. Again, another game I need to just play again because I've only played it once. Kind of an older game, a classic. I just need to play it again to keep it up there. Comic Hunters. Ooh. I like me some Comic Hunters. This is hard to slide, but I'm going to make it 13. I'm going to come down to 13 with Comic Hunters. Underwater Cities is currently my 8. I am going to leave Underwater Cities above Manhattan Project right now. I really like Underwater Cities, but Manhattan Project is the next one on my list.
This is the Energy Empire, right?
Energy Empire, I'm sorry.
Wow, I thought it might be higher.
Yeah, man, I really like me some Underwater Cities. The more I look back here at my board, it's hard because Imperial Settlers is one of my all-time favorites, but that may slide if I get a chance to play it again. But I'm going to go ahead and slap Manhattan Project without thinking about it too much. I'm going to slap it up here at 12.
12? You hate that game.
Yeah, I know. It's awful. Of the 22 games I played this year, it's 12. So yeah, no, a little bit more than that. This one's going to disappoint probably Carlos. Darwin's Journey is the next one on my list. Another fairly heavy Euro game. This one is not going to be on the Terminus. It's not Terminus. It's lighter than Terminus, I think. I got to play my first Euro Kanban this couple weeks ago, and Kanban didn't quite make my list, but again, that one I think is it's the complexity to it. I need to play it again, maybe 2 or 3 times before I kind of get that down. But Darwin's Journey, even though Carlos gives me a hard time that I didn't do well, and I didn't do well, the play we had, this one just, it made sense to me. I kind of could figure it out. I could see the links to it, and I loved the theme of it.
It just still drives me nuts. He talks about, no, I got this one figured out.
I do.
But he came in last, like dead last.
Nothing wrong with that.
Which is all right. Yep, I still enjoyed it, and I saw where the links were. I saw how I needed to get to where I needed to be. I just wasn't doing it. So
I can hear Carlos and Dan like in like Men on Film, like Damon Wayne's like hated it.
Yeah, they were not such big fans, but I really like Darwin's Journey quite a bit. It's not quite going to break my top 10. I'm going to put it at 11.
Wow.
So there it is at 11. I need to play that one again. Again, these heavier games, they just need a few more plays to kind of really sink in. But that one's going to hit my list. Again, it's one that Dan and Carlos definitely would disagree with, but I liked it quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to another play of that. Underwater Cities is going to slide down a little bit, even though I am liking it a lot. I'm going to put it at 10. Imperial Settlers sliding to 9 because I've got a couple of classics here that I got to play for the first time this year at Dice Tower that are going to come up on my list. Undaunted is currently at 6. I'm actually going to slide Undaunted down to 8.
How dare you?
Castles in Burgundy at 5. Oh, this is where it gets tough. We're getting into some good classic games here. My next one that's going up, and
I've seen what's on here.
Just so you can see what I'm weighing here, is Aquatica, which Aquatica is a game for me. I love that setting. I've got 3 fish tanks in my house. Me and the family love going to the aquariums and the sea life and all that kind of stuff. And I just love the underwater theme. You'll see several of my games on our water themed on here. Aquatica versus Castles. Oh, this is so tough. I am going to leave, probably to Wayne's delight, I'm going to leave Castles above Aquatica, even though I like Aquatica a lot. I'm going to put Aquatica on here at 7, which leaves me currently Castles at 5, and my open spot at 6. Tyrants is going to be the other one, Mike. Tyrants of the Underdark. That's currently, number 2 on your list, if I remember? Was it? No.
Number 3.
3. All right, I missed it by 1. All right, number 3.
You hate it.
Yeah, you hate it. It's
going to go to number 2 on yours, though, I can tell.
It's going to go above Castles, Wayne. I got to slide Castles down for Tyrants. Tyrants is a great game for me.
Tyrants is a great game.
Ooh, now Destinies. Now we're talking about classic goodness versus a fairly new, at least new to me, game with Destinies.
Destinies is a flash in the pan.
Of course it is. Of course it is. You would say that because you said you sold your copy, right?
I
Never
did,
played
damn it.
Yeah, you sold your copy. Now you're regretting it. But it was on sale. I saw they just posted a
I
sale.
know. I'm still regretting it to this day.
You can buy it back.
Oh, this is tough. This is really tough. Tyrants.
Who did you play this game with,
Destinies.
though? I want to know that.
Tyrants? Oh, let me remind myself.
It was Dan and my wife and William.
Was it William?
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I know Rob's plays better than he does.
Yeah, you do. You do. You remember it better than I do. So
Yeah.
I'm getting old. I'm turning 50 this year. Actually, wow, turning 50
No,
this
easy
month.
now.
this month.
This month.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
You got like 2 weeks,
It's
bro.
creeping up on me. Yeah, exactly. 2 weeks, I'll be 50. Woo. I am going to... I'm going to slide Destinies. This is a hard call, but I'm going to slide Destinies to 5. I'm going to go Tyrants to 4. Or does it jump Blood Rage? Ooh,
Of course it does.
Tyrants jump Blood Rage?
Of course.
Are you gonna be 3 twins with Mike? You could both have Tyrants at 3.
Oh no! Now since you
Well, the
said that,
two-way
it's going
crossover,
at
man.
4. It's going at 4.
Dang it.
That's a tough call, but I'm gonna put it at 4. We need to play Blood Rage again and see, or I need to play Tyrants with you, Mike, just to see the Mike experience with Tyrants. But so real quick over my top 20. I try not to ramble on here. So Dunes / Uprising / Imperium. Number 1, Endeavor, Age of Sail, Blood Rage, Tyrants of the Underdark, Destinies, Castles of Burgundy, Aquatica, Undaunted, Imperial Settlers. Rounding out my top 10 is Underwater Cities. 11, Darwin's Journey, Manhattan Project, Energy Empire, Comic Hunters, Village, Barcelona, Ethnos, Too Many Bones, Terminus, Ra, and Skyrise. There's my top 20.
Nice.
Woohoo! We did it.
How did we ever do this show without a top 20 board?
I don't know.
Like, this is
it's
probably
fun.
the most fun I have
it's
all
fun.
month. Like,
It's fun. It's a good time.
It is.
these
fun.
these are some tough decisions to make.
It was really tough.
Yeah, and if I at least was better prepared, it would be such a big production, I guess. But
But I like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're going off emotion. You're going off
Yeah.
feeling. Like, it's very subjective, and that's okay.
yeah, for me, it's definitely on the fly. It's what do I feel right now? So yeah.
And then you feel like sometimes you feel like you're stabbing a friend in the back.
Oh yeah,
Like,
some of these games are tough to get rid of. So
you know, I told you I loved you, Destinies, but now is my time to show you how much I loved you.
yeah. Show me where that game hurt you, touched you.
Beans and Dice podcast. Phone lines are open, 813-618-7099. It's not unexpected that we don't get calls on this episode. This tends to be the episode where most folks are just watching along, enjoying the fun that we're having. But it is a call-in show. 813-618-7099 is the number. Got about a half hour left in the episode before we call it done for the evening. I know next week's episode, based on the cadence, is scheduled to be a topic and voicemail episode. I was talking to the guys before the show. I want to do a mini top 5 board.
Yeah.
It's like a little top 5 for each of us on different topics, different games, criteria. And then for next week, my thought is let's get out of the gaming realm. Let's go into gaming.
Rob was
adjacent,
on board until you said that.
They said, let's go into something non-board game.
gaming adjacent activities that drive your gaming desire. So, like, what things do you do outside of board gaming that make you say, that makes me want to play this game? Like, as soon as we get home, we're busting out a copy of this game, right? Whatever that is, whether it's certain shows, movies, books, right? Activities with the family, topics, news or otherwise. I know that we're heavy into the election season, and I see Wayne posting a copy of Campaign Trail, and I'm all like, hot damn, I need to play that right now, because that is like what's in the news, in our world, in our life right now. I want to play a game that revolves around that. Those types of things. Top 5 for each of us on our own separate boards. We'll do that next week. We'll ask for your voicemails to talk about what are some gaming things, non-gaming things,
Game adjacent,
that you do that make you want to play a game, connect it to a game.
Okay.
Very tough for me.
Yeah, it's tough for me too. I don't get that feeling like you do. I don't ever go out and be like, oh, that makes me want to play something.
You don't do anything outside of board gaming?
Oh, I do other stuff, but it doesn't relate back to board gaming. I don't do something and be like, oh, I got to go play that game. So,
You
yeah, it's
never went
hard
to
for
the
me.
aquarium and then wanted to play Aquatica?
Right.
No, I'm at the aquarium. I'm looking at fish. I'm doing a fish thing. Yeah,
Then you can go home and play a fish game.
yeah, not the same.
That'll be our topic for next week. Phone lines are open. 813-618-7099 is the number.
So it looks like the Dice Tower Awards were tonight. So
Oh, they're doing it tonight.
it was on. I just saw a post on Facebook.
Oh.
That was asking where it was. So it's streaming on Twitch on a Gen Con Twitch channel, and it probably won't be on the Dice Tower YouTube channel for a day or two.
How many did we get right?
Well, we made our
Yep,
picks.
We'll find out. Yes, I was gonna say like we have now for the last 2 years. So this will be the third annual where we all made our picks, and I cajoled everybody into doing it. So we have
Cajoled.
You berated me.
Poked and prodded.
into finally putting my...
like Carlos, come on, you're the only one that hasn't done it yet.
I had like 20-something like notifications on the bubble for our chat,
The
like
Discord,
the notification icon. And I'm like, maybe I just need to get this done.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
it's the one thing we've done consistently for 3 years now.
Yeah, that's cool.
3 years. Right?
You know me. If there's one thing I'm consistent about is keeping
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna-
keeping it inconsistent.
Changing it up.
That's shiny
This
red
is
boy
true.
there. But no, it's sealed in an envelope. We'll let the Academy know how the voting went. I'll probably post it in our Discord server how we did.
I had a tough time this year. Now, it wasn't for me not looking at the Excel you put together. I looked at the Excel and I saw a lot of games that I never played
Yeah.
or followed. Right, I really didn't look into them to see what are these games, which ones would be a good guess. So I really felt a little lost. So I feel like 90% of my predictions were just Sky Team. The Sky Team. It rocked. Sky Team. On my top 20. Sky Team.
I played a lot of them on BGA. A lot of them were
Yeah,
available on
I played a
BGA
lot,
this
yeah.
year. Stuff's coming out so quick on BGA now that
There's
that's
a
where
lot of games on BGA now that like Harmonies is already out and Far Away, and so it's like games are just coming out and it's already on BGA.
Even games you wouldn't expect. I'm seeing they're putting out like heavier stuff. Well, TI4 supposedly has been in the works for a little while. That one's still being worked on, but what's the game? Kaput Regni, Praga. There's games like that are like these moderate to heavy Euros that you wouldn't think would show up on a BGA. Yeah.
Twilight Imperium gets released on BGA. We'll be in a game that'll take like
6 years.
months, 6 years.
It would take 6 years.
Yeah, it would.
No thanks takes 2 weeks. What are you talking about?
One move a day, you'd be like,
yeah, it would be a thing. Yeah,
but people will be playing the hell out of it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, everybody being involved in a game.
I feel like I feel it's only a matter of time before Brass is on there, Dune too.
I would think, yeah. I don't know about the rights and stuff and just them putting it out there. But once they get over that hurdle, a lot of those games have got to be out there. So
Five Tribes is out there, so that's an older game, but older goodie. One that I enjoy. So
there's tons of stuff in alpha. Every time I'm on there looking at the alpha available stuff, it's just so many games coming out. You looking at the news over there?
No, just scrolling through some of the news. I did see some articles, a lot of stuff about this D&D, this new way that D&D is headed with the hiring of the CEO, really focusing on digital gaming, right? So this whole the sky is falling, they'll never publish a book again, and then Wayne's trying to put that rumor down. He's trying to keep things calm in the Discord.
I'm just saying, like it's not like the one is they hired the CEO. They got rid of the woman who was from Microsoft. No, she was from Microsoft, one of the computers, and Amazon, right? And the new guy is a Blizzard dude. He worked with Blizzard. So yeah, they have and will continue to push digital because they want to make D&D $1 billion enterprise. And the only way to really do that is to make it a digital entity. And that's why, like, the company that made Baldur's Gate 2 or 3 or whatever one, the new one they just came out, I think it's 3.
3 at least, yeah.
3 is, yeah. That company, they basically took it back from them and said, okay, 3 is good, but any future games, Baldur's Gate, we're going to do internal, right? So, like, Wizards is going to do it themselves, which can be garbage, I'm sure. But they're pushing their one D&D and D&D online and Roll20 and all that stuff, and that's just going to be the thing. But they will always still print the books.
I was going to say, yeah, they always
at least the 4 main books. The Player's Guide, DM's Guide, Monster Manual, and like one supplement. They're going to come out with 1 book a quarter. It's not going to be like the 30 books you have or 50 books you have for like 3rd edition or like the 300 books you got for 2nd edition. But they're always going to print the main books. Just there's no reason.
Things are different for these younger folks, man. When I played that session of games last summer, I think it was end of last summer,
over
at Armada with my son.
Phone and not even
that's what it was. It was the majority of these younger folks. They didn't have books. They didn't have paper. It was all on. Everything was on their phone. Yeah. Everything was just digital. It was a weird feeling.
Well, I think what they've learned over the years is the GM, whoever the main GM is, that person is going to buy all the books. All the other players generally never bought the books. They would just use the GM's books. So if they gave them a digital solution that was cheap or something that they could do, like where if one person pays for that like super deluxe subscription to like D&D Beyond, they can, if I pay for D&D Beyond, whatever it is a year, $100, $200 a year, I get all the books, I get everything. And then if I can run a campaign and I can invite the 3 of you guys into my campaign and you can view all the books for free.
No, thanks.
Online.
Anyway.
No.
Do you see that the Discord is not going to be working with, I think it's Roll20, the online platform for playing role-playing games is going to be integrated into Discord.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest problem with Roll20 was always like their talk and chat and video was crap, right? The other tools were all cool, but like I would use Roll20 and still use Discord or Zoom or something like that for the visual.
I think they figured that out because they're like, you know what? Let's just do this for real now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be part of a feature of Discord now.
Ooh,
so you're able to get your D&D games, your role-playing games, because it's more than just D&D. Get your role-playing games while on Discord.
Nice. Seems cool. Sign me up.
And in Tales of Don't Do What I Did, or almost did, so Rob and I are at Dice Tower, and we're just checking out the Conflict of Heroes booth, I'm sorry, the Academy Games booth. Like I'm focused in there, and I think I stalked that booth all weekend, looking at Awakening the Bear, Conflict of Heroes 3rd edition. I own 1st edition, I own 2nd edition, and I just kept talking myself down. Like, I'm not going to buy 3rd edition. I've already bought the first 2.
Here it comes.
So I'm with Rob, and I think I ended up buying some dice from them that allowed you to upgrade your copy of 2nd edition to the 3rd edition rules. You just got to use their digital downloads. You got to download the rules, print out their playmat, because it's a different playmat that you use to track your command action points and such. And then you can play with your old set using the new rules. So you know what? I'll just buy the dice, and I'll do that when I get home. So the first thing I did this week, I was like, you know what? I want to get this done. I want to download the rules, and I want to convert my 2nd edition to 3rd edition. So I bust out my copy of Conflict of Heroes, put it on the table, open it up, and I see the dice inside there. I'm like, wait a minute, these are the same dice that I just bought. The new feature of 3rd edition is this addition of this special dice. And I look at the side of the box, 3rd edition.
3rd edition.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow. Well, at least you didn't buy it while you were there.
Yep, I almost did. I went from the $70 purchase to the $5 dice. Come to find out,
that was
I already suckered that first. So I've gone through 1st edition, 2nd edition, and 3rd edition.
I just want to say, go ahead, Wayne.
No, I was gonna say if the rule for Lonnie is that he would forget a rule and teach him the games, calling it Lonnie. So is calling a Carlos like buying a 2nd copy of the game you already own?
Yeah.
Like Carlos said, I already own a game. I'm gonna buy a 2nd copy.
Yeah, well, the 4 copies of Green Team Wins up there. Yeah.
2 copies of Thunder Rolls or whatever.
I got I think 2 or 3 copies of Rallyman GT.
2 Summoner Wars Alliance up there.
2 or 3 Thunder Wars.
Baseball highlights.
Yeah. It's got
because you never know if like a card goes bad or a shit goes missing. You just dig into the other box to.
Or you might need a 10-person tournament just off the cuff.
Yeah, you never know, man. Here's the thing, though. How many? What was it? 2 or 3 weeks ago, you specifically said, "Shop your collection, people. Shop your collection." And here it is. Didn't
and I
shop
did.
his collection, and now he's got more to add to it.
Do as I say, not as I do.
I have enough dice for each player because you can play 1 to 4 players.
Nice.
So each player can get their own dice now.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
Because I bought extra dice.
Not a total loss.
Don't have to share.
I was stunned. I'm like, I don't. And then it all started coming back to me. Oh, I do remember now, because
how
I
long
gave
ago did
away
you
my
buy
2nd
it?
edition at the Christmas event. I brought my 2nd edition to the Christmas event last year and gave that one away. So sometime last year, I must have fell for the trap and bought 3rd edition. Never touched it. Everything inside was still in shrink.
Unreal.
So I'm looking forward to getting to the table.
What's up with this beautiful playmat that we've got sitting in front of us
gorgeous.
here? Yeah.
Stonemeyer Games sent us a copy of the playmat for Tapestry to play. It's a double-sided natural rubber, it says. A natural rubber playmat with stitched edges, and it includes the Arts and Architectures expansion tableau, so you can place those cards on there. And it's double-sided to play on the 2 to 3 player side, or you can play on the larger 4, 5, and 6 players.
Does that mean it has all the expansions? Is it all in one, or is it missing one now?
No, I think it's
No, that's the last.
because I don't think the new one,
big expansion they did.
Okay. Nice.
the Fantasies one, I don't think that one adds any new tracks.
So along the lines of Tapestry, I almost bought that mat. I have all the expansions. I just got the upgraded, the redone and rebalanced, civilizations.
Factions.
And I'm thanking Wayne for being the Stonemeyer champion that he is. And I had the mat, like I was thinking about it, and the one thing that prevented me from buying it, I still haven't even played Tapestry yet.
That's the one thing?
That's the one thing.
That's all it done. That's all it took, man. I have all the expansions, everything. Insert, got it all in one box. I still haven't even freaking played the game.
I'm enjoying that game more and more. But like there are just like we've talked about it before. There are a couple of folks that we play on BGA and the Beans Dice crew where like I'll score my 200, my 225, and feel really good about myself, and then Nick and Bowser like 400. What? How did you do that? Jesus,
I got 260 my last play, but
you did, yeah. It's good. Yeah, but that's like a high score, like for you too. Like 260 is really good.
I've hit 300 once, but yeah.
But yeah, it's a game that I just don't quite still get like how to really I mean, scoring 200, 180 to 225 is okay score. It's a good score.
Yeah.
But like that, like to get that 250, 260, 300, that's like a next level of just grokking it. I'm like, I'm just not there. I don't know.
Is it that, or is it
How
that
good
you
is 60
need
points?
someone else to set you up for that? Like you need a Carlos there
There is a little bit of that.
to give you that boost. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, Carlos took that spot. He didn't recognize that spot that he took. Now lets me combo X.
Yeah, and hitting those the landmarks is important. So if people aren't paying attention, and you can find a way to slip past people and kind of fly up a couple of the tracks and beat people to several of those landmarks, that can make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah,
But-
that's and that's a detriment to BGAs. Like I didn't even realize I was on the military track, and I was all the way to the big, what is it, 3x3 square.
yeah, something like that.
And there was no one else
Third
even
age.
close. Everyone else was like all the way back down the track. And so I click the button and I click it and it's not there. And I'm like, what?
Hey,
The
you
hell?
moved on there, and you was like, "Well, where's
I moved
my
on there
landmark?"
and then where's my landmark? And like I didn't realize Jim had played something. Odak had
One of his
played-
tapestry cards allowed him to take any landmark off the
and he
board.
took the one that I was about to get.
Yeah, the one that you were about to jump onto. So you
Right.
thought, "Hey, I'm getting ready to get my landmark." Oh, it's not there. What?
What?
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of
spent
the, that's
all
one of the
those
things. Yeah, playing digitally, you just can't see. If you're
Sometimes
playing
you
in person, you can see that big board over there, and you
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
Jim reach over and grab that landmark. But
Yeah,
when you're playing digitally, you don't realize, oh, 2 turns ago he took that. So yeah,
It's all right though. It's fun.
No, the mat is nice. It's actually, Mike, it's well done with the print. I always worry about printing boards onto mats.
yeah. Usually it's like blurry, a little
Yeah.
fuzzy.
Yeah.
This is pretty sharp.
The
yeah.
resolution is pretty sharp on it. You can tell
What is the,
what each icon is.
What does the natural rubber feel like compared to like the neoprene mats or other mats?
I don't think it feels any different.
Yeah, me either. Really.
I don't.
Yeah,
It's just an eco tagline or something. It says it's natural rubber.
yeah. It
probably
feels the same to me.
It's not as thick,
like
I would think. Is what I'm used to.
Does it smell different?
This probably has less chemicals in it, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
less
also.
chemicals, less plastic.
Smells like a rubber.
How many rubbers have you sniffed there, Rob?
Hail.
At least 3 or 4 different types, right? Anyway.
Carlos,
Good night, I'm out.
It is after
I'm not
10
even
o'clock
going, I'm
Eastern.
not even going
Yeah.
there with that one.
After dark. Yeah. Anyway.
It's well done. It's a well done mat. I'd recommend it. Not just because I got a copy for free.
Not just
I'm a mat guy. Like I have a whole area full of mats. Like Wayne should be able to sit on that side of the table, but because of all my mats, the answer is no. You can't sit
You
there.
gotta get that like wall hanging thing that like you can just slide all the mats behind a door type thing.
That's the next thing I got to
Slide
figure out
out.
is this mat
Out of
situation.
store, yeah, mats. That's an ongoing topic. You always can see chats on the BGG and on Dice Tower and stuff. How do you store your mats? And so, I don't know if anybody's found a great solution to that. I talked to somebody recently who did the door thing, and it might have been
I think-
Diego.
at Diego,
Yeah.
See, I'm like anti mat. Like I don't. I have the board in the box,
Ooh,
and I'm
I
gonna
like
buy a
mats.
mat that then takes up more room elsewhere in my game room. I've never
Mats
been a
are
big.
nice.
I think sometimes the mats are a benefit and sometimes they're not. But like if it has the expansion boards on it and everything fits on it, and you know it helps speed up the setup, I'm all for mats. But
I've got the Champions of Midgard mat,
that's a perfect example.
Picking up cards, and
baseball
stuff.
highlights.
You gotta
Yes,
have some kind of
No,
mat.
well, no, I have-
especially if you're not sleeving.
Yeah.
I have a game table that has the
A
you know,
mat.
A
Yeah.
mat that is
Yeah.
a table thing. So I think the other thing too is like I like mats if the game board doesn't come with a mat. Then having it like the distilled that display of cards, like having a mat there is good, right? Adding that helps you set it up.
Yeah.
But if it comes with a board that helps that has everything, then I probably wouldn't go for the mat thing.
Yeah, it's just an extra
Yeah, it's extra.
bonus to help you bling things out, like extra aesthetic to it. So yeah,
One of my favorite mats has got to be Welcome To, because not only does it have spots to put the cards and the discards that you flop over, it also has all of the symbols and explanations
Rules,
for
yeah.
everything.
Oh.
And the spread of cards. So all that information that's normally on the back of the rule book that nobody touches is always there in front of you. So everyone has good line of sight to it. Nice big font. Welcome To makes a great mat.
Well, that'd be a good one.
I'm Team Matt.
yeah, I like mats.
All right, we got to talk about Terminus, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. What
This
can I
is
do,
on my
Terminus? Yeah,
mind.
all right.
Let's go.
Yep.
Here was my problem with it, and I think with my group as well. So when you have all the, so we played a 3-player game, and we actually minus the teach which was about 20 minutes. We did get through the game in about an hour and a half. So
Oh wow. Okay.
on the box it says about 25 minutes per player. I think that's pretty close to what it was.
Okay. Yeah, that's about right.
The problem that I have with the game is One, I don't think the iconography is. I don't think it's been streamlined enough, or where it tells you exactly what like the development tiles.
The development tiles were, we were constantly in the book looking at the development tiles.
We just, I mean, granted, they had the explanation all on a single page, which did help, but it was just like we kept referencing that page, and it was the back of the rule book.
We passed that around the table many times.
I couldn't tell you how many times I read what number 17 did, throughout the entire game.
Yep.
I think it was the combination of that, and once you start getting developments out on the board, the unquantifiable numbers of options you had, because when you put out a development, like, most spots around the rondel, you either have 2 or 3 actions that you can take. And some of them you can take from another stop, like they kind of share each other.
Yep, share an area, yep.
Well, when you put a development tile out, it will have a symbol on it that is one of those rondel stops. And if you have one of your, I forget what they're called, but it's like your meeple on it, that also opens up that action. So now it's not 2 to 3, it's 3 to 4 actions that you may have. Yep. And then you can move your meeples to other developments if you have stops that are adjacent to them. So it turned into this, I don't even want to think about, what is going on. And it ended up being whatever project so-and-so put out on the board, it pretty much just stayed that way. There was no movement of your meeples.
We were moving constantly, rearranging our meeples. And
I don't know. And it just seemed like, and I'm going to ask you this because it seemed like we really didn't get you're playing a game of Snake, because you have to build these trails without running back into your own trail. You can cross other people's stops. You can use their stops. They get a small benefit. You get a small benefit. It didn't seem like we really got that going until maybe the last 2 times around in the last year. That's when it all really started coming together for us.
Really? So we were right from the very beginning. We were running across other people's stuff. You get an energy, I get a money, or vice versa. I get a money, you get an energy. So we were doing that right off the bat. We were connecting to each other. We were those public objectives. We were all kind of starting to fight for how we were going to move those around. Your meeples that you put on the board are multiple use. You can put them on those developments to take bonus actions, or you can put them in the campaigning section on those claim,
which we did use those as well.
So you're trying to make that decision on when do I, because once you put them up there, they don't come back off. They're there for the rest of the game, but you can only have 2 people claim each of the public objectives, and so you're trying to balance that. And when do I go up there and grab that? Everybody can see that I'm going for the longest route, or that I'm trying to build the most hubs or whatever. And so when do I go up there and start using these people that I can move around between the different bonus actions to put them up there? It was thinking, my biggest complaint at 5 players, we played at 5. I remember it definitely maxed out at 5, and our play was about 3 hours, so that 25 per player was probably pretty accurate, and we were all learning. We were all first-time players to the game, so we were in that book a decent amount. But the downtime with 5 players, there was a lot of downtime. I would take my turn, and then I knew it was going to be 20, 25 minutes before it would come back to my turn again sometimes. And it was really thinky. Again, every time, it's like, all right, I knew what I'm going to do, so I'm going to move my meeple and do my action. And then after I do that, again, we were constantly moving our meeples around between the different developments. And so it was like, as soon as we did that, there would be a good 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes sometimes between, hold on, before anybody else goes, let me decide if I want to move one of my meeples to a different development, because then you could set up what your next action is. So each of those developments only triggers on a certain stop around the rondel. And so if I know where I want to stop next, you can either do the actions that are printed on that rondel spot, or if you've claimed a development that has that symbol on it, you can do that action instead, which that action usually tends to be a slightly better version of the 2 or 3 actions that are printed on the board.
Plus, you had the upgrades on your own board.
Right. And then there was a whole blocking aspect because each of the developments only has places for 2 meeples.
Two.
And so
Yep.
when in a 5-player game, we were blocking each other. Jim begged me 2 rounds in a row. He's like, I need you to get off of that development. What can I do? What can I promise you to move your meeple off that development? I was like, I'm sorry, Jim. Right now, I have no advantage to doing that. And if I know you want it that bad, I am not moving off that development. So he ended up losing the game. I think he finished last. I finished 4th out of the 5, and he finished 5th. But
How many points did you have?
I can look real quick.
I'm just curious because
Yeah, the point spread that matters. What'd you see, Mike's point spread wise? Like high points.
Here's the thing. It was our first time playing. I taught it, and this was the first time in a while where I did not Lonnie the rules. And I literally, it was 20 minutes. It's an easy teach if you know how to play, because it's really like, okay, you stop here, you do this.
Yep.
Here's the rules for laying track down, which are very simple and pretty straightforward once you know them.
Yep.
So the teach went fairly quick. It's just one of the people playing forgot that you can only get 2 of the demand tokens per section. And he ended up getting a 3rd, and it was like a 7-point jump because of that. And I was like, don't worry, it's our first play. Just take the freaking token. It doesn't even matter at this point. So there was a bit more of a point spread because of that. But I think it would have been a little bit closer without that. But anyway, go ahead.
For our 5-player game, the range went from 30. Jim had 30 points. I had 35. 38 for Scott. Samantha had 41, and Brendan won with 50. So it was 35 to 50.
Christ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that was a lot more points than we had. So.
Oh, really?
We obviously were doing something wrong.
Maybe.
Or just not thinking it, not being.
It's a very low scoring game.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of points in it. So, which again underscores how important it can be, not to screw up, not to end up. I mean, at some point in the game, we all at some point in the game, and to that, again, 3 of these 5 people I had never played with before. Sorry, 2 of the 5 I had never played before. This was my first experience, so I don't know what their preferences, their proclivities are, but they all were like, wow, this is a thinky, heavy game. This is a lot of fun. This is really good. But every single one of us at some point said, oh, man, I just screwed that up, and I just gave up 10 points. I just lost 8 points by one dumb thing that I just did. And so
how many times did you get around to the part where you start laying track and you're like, I don't have that freaking folder?
Oh, yeah, little things like that. It's resource tight. You've only got 8 little spaces, kind of like Concordia. You've got a limited supply where you can put stuff in. So Carlos is trying to show me something.
No, because Luke Hector played something at the intro of his review of Terminus.
Okay.
And I'm going to play it because it kind of summarized it.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
There you go.
I award you no points.
What was that from?
Billy
and may
Madison.
God have mercy on your soul.
I award you no points.
What was that from?
That was Billy Madison.
Billy Madison. There you go.
Madison.
Oh,
Billy
my
Madison.
gosh.
That was
Well, anyway.
Luke Hector's kind of summary of the game is I award you no points.
I came home, immediately put it up on Facebook Marketplace, and it sold that night. So I'm at the point now where it's like I'm so tight on space where I'm at. If it doesn't like wow me to the nth degree, it's getting jettisoned. I just don't have the space for it. So as small as that box is, I know it's like a normal size box. Goodbye. You're gone.
I'd really like to play this with 3 or 4 and cut that down time. The 5 was too much, and then knowing the game and then playing it with 3 or 4.
You talked about 25 minutes in between, right? But
I think that has to be an exaggeration.
A little bit, probably. There was... No, I would say for sure 15 minutes. There was times that I could go to the bathroom, maybe grab something to eat. There was one particular player that I had not played with before that was stretching that a little bit. Each time it came to him, there were periods. Yeah, and there were definitely periods. I mean, it was long enough that I think at different points in the game, we all had to hit somebody and be like, "Hey, it's your turn. It's been your turn for 2 or 3 minutes. We thought you were just thinking." And that because the time between turns could take so long, it's like people would start wondering.
Their brain was oozing out of their ear.
Exactly. It's so it was definitely thinky. It was.
There are some thinky games where I desire or I hope for a little more time before my turn is up. Did you get to that point where you're like, you know what, I still need a few more minutes to think? I'm hoping it takes a little longer.
Every now and then somebody would do something that would mess up what you were wanting to do. I didn't find that to be real heavy in this game. I think
I blocked one of the guys maybe once, like by laying the track down. It's because each spot you stop at, anybody can stop there. It's not you're not blocking anybody.
Yeah, I remember at the end of the game, Jim had a big problem because he needed 3 cones to do what he needed to do, and for 2 turns in a round, it kept coming to him, and he had to just take one cone. Yep, and he was like, you guys just screwed up everything I've been trying to do for the, I just 20 points there. It went right out the window because those last 2 turns, all I could take was 1 cone. So
I do love that mechanism. When you stop to get your construction cones, you're taking as many cones that are in the leftmost column with cones. So if you come around, there's 1 cone in that column. That's all you're getting.
Yep,
but you can get as many as 4.
Yep.
So yeah,
that's a pretty cool mechanism. But
anyway,
I'm
glad it hit for you guys. I mean, it's not a game for everybody, obviously.
For sure.
I just didn't care for it. Neither did my group. So
interesting how a game can hit differently with different groups. So
yeah.
But yeah, we liked it quite a bit. We all kind of we're talking about our next play, looking forward to it. So
sweet. All right, cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
any last minute topics for you guys? We're at the end of the show. We're gonna wrap it up.
Whew, yeah, it flew by. Yeah.
No, I mean I probably have a topic for next week, but this month is going to be Dragonflight Con here in Seattle.
Nice.
Which is, I think it's similar in size to like OrcaCon. So it's not a huge gaming con, but it is strictly board games for the most part, and I am going to that. So 4 days, I think it's the week after next is when it's going on. So I'll be going to that. So I will have a number of games, hopefully, to add to my top 20 for next month.
Nice. And I was just going to touch on, I don't know if I had mentioned all these, but just in the last few weeks, I've had a chance to play some Euros, which is my preferred game type. But Kanban, I got to play my first Lacerda a few weeks back. Enjoyed it. It was not, I think I mentioned before that it wasn't as heavy as I thought.
These are all July plays, because today the first month. Today's the first day of August.
August.
So everything here was July plays that didn't make the board.
Exactly. So Kanban, I definitely just needs more plays, but I want to play some other Lacerdas. Looking forward to Lisboa, which I understand is quite a bit heavier. I want to play On Mars, which is supposedly a little heavier, from people will tell me from Kanban. I got to play Hansa, I played the Hansa Teutonica again, which is a Euro. That's an older game, but I mentioned that one before.
That's a brutal game too.
It is, yeah. It's a very blocky, very stabby game.
Yeah.
Hegemony, liked that. We talked about that. Kutnahora, a game I wanted to play for about a year now.
What did you think of that?
It was good. I really like some of the unique things it does for a Euro, and it gives you different areas to go to do different things, which was a lot of fun. Another one that I need to play again, just because I didn't completely get it on my first play, but I liked it. Not enough to get it on the top 20, but it was definitely a game I liked. Tricarian, I think I mentioned that. Jim called in. I think I mentioned that last week.
That's so bad.
It was good. That just missed my board. That was almost 20. With another play, I can almost guarantee it will go on my board. But we were learning that one. It was the first.
Did you play just the base or with any expansions?
We played with the Black Cat or Alley Cat or something expansion on there. It comes with the base game, but it's an expansion that's with the base game, and it definitely kicked it up. Jim is one for throwing everything in. That was everything that he had, so he put it all in there. Every time we do it, I tell him, it's like, Jim, let's just learn the base game. He's like, no, we're gamers. Let's just put it all in there. Let's just do it all. I was like, all right, let's do it. So I wouldn't have mind playing just the base game first and then adding that, but it was definitely not too much to grasp for gamers. It was within our realm, but I liked it. Again, another play, and I can almost guarantee it'll make my top 20.
Sweet.
And then the other Terminus we talked about, and then the White Castle, obviously. I enjoyed White Castle. Just mentioned before that for me, when I get into a game that thinky, number one, it ends too fast. I agree with Wayne. Needs another round. Carlos disagrees because he beat us, but I think it needs one more round to really get that thing singing, to get your engine going. Every time I've played it, well, twice I've played it, I feel like I'm just one full round short of really being able to start being like, oh, I did something really cool here. When Carlos has played it 10 times, so he's got to that point where he knows how to make that happen within the 3 times around the board or whatever. But I need one more round still to make that
I'll lose on the next one. Make y'all feel a little better.
Make one of us feel better.
I want to get it back to the table.
Yeah.
We should play Tapestry so you can score 20.
There you go. Y'all gonna feel great.
Yeah. And again, it is a Euro that's over in an hour, which can be good, but I think I like my Thinky Euros longer. I mean, it's not a popular opinion, but I like my Thinky Euros more on the 2 hour instead of the 1 hour. It's just a little too quick for me. But so I got in a bunch of Euros. That was my point, is that I complain about I don't get to play Euros, and luckily,
that's the thing. Your list is full of Euros. So like Euro wise, I can see where I wouldn't make your top 20. There's a lot of strong Euros on your list. I don't play a lot of Euros. I'm very picky.
Sure.
When I choose to play a Euro, I got to hear good things about it. It's got to have a theme that kind of draws me in.
Yeah.
I have a lot less Euros on my board. I can see why White Castle makes it higher.
Yeah, I mean, it would be on there. It's not far off my board. It's not far off the top 20, but it's just going to miss for me. That's me.
Nice.
Any honorable mentions, Wayne?
Wandering Towers was okay.
Ugh, memory game.
Yeah, not the best.
As we know, I'm not a memory guy. Yeah.
I mean, not really. A few other, I mean, it's hard. Like I think you bring up a good point. Is like lighter games or 2-player games have a hard time making the list when you're hard.
Not that they're not great. I mean, I love a good 2-player head-to-head match-off, War Chest, Hanamakoji. I love those games. Yeah, those are great games, but it's just I cannot. It's hard for me to rate those against full.
When do we pull the
4-player
trigger
games.
and make a second board for what Daryl calls smaller games?
I've got a small stack of them already, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Or I might like at the end of the year do like my top 5 2-player games, top 5 light games.
Unlike you guys, I am not scared to put a small game up against a heavy.
You're putting like Trick Takers and stuff on your list. Come on.
When you were doing yours, somebody had a comment on there. I meant to post it up there. Where was it? Hang on.
For that.
Yeah, there was a comment. Somebody had said, there it is. No, that's not it. It was about 2-player games doing a thing, like during your list.
Yeah.
Like being strong with you.
I see that going in there. I was just going to say real quick. So the one Trick Taker that didn't make my list that may make my list if I keep playing it, it's a game called 535. And it's a trick taker. Well, it's really like a card shedder. Oh, there it is. Chester.
Yeah, Chester Wilson, 2-player games. Be doing things on Mike's list.
There you go.
So 535 is a card shedder game. And you have the reason why it's called 535 is suits don't matter in this game. And I think there's 3 or 4 of each number, but it's like 1 through 5. 6 is skipped, then it's 7, 8, 9, then 10 is skipped, and then it's 11 through 15. So that's your 5, 3, 5. And so all the cards are dealt out. Depending on the number of players, you might take some cards out or whatever. Or some cards may come out regardless. But anyway, so you have your cards in your hand. Whatever you play, the next person can either choose to beat it, and you can play like a single card for like the high card. You can play a pair. You can play a run of cards, whatever you want. But since there's no 6 or 10, you know that it's going to stop at some point. Like you can't do a run or whatever. So like if I put a pair of 9s down or whatever, and it's Carlos's turn, he can choose to put a higher pair down, or he can add to it and put like another 9 down. And now Carlos is winning with 3 9s. And then somebody else would have to play something else.
You probably don't know, but is this on BGA? I think
it may be on BGA.
I think I've played this on BGA. Yeah.
Okay. So, and like if you played 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4, and it was Carlos's turn, Carlos can add a 1 to that, or a 1 and a 5 to that.
Yeah.
And now he's got, a run of 5. The thing is the 8s, and depending on who gets rid of their cards first, each card has like a point value, and you want the lowest number of points. So every card that you have left in your hand at the end of the game or at the end of the round, those are negative points that go towards you. The 8s, which are the highest point value, so if they're in your hand, you're kind of screwed. Once you play that within somebody else, or if you're playing it in the middle, as long as you're not coming out with that 8, the round or the trick ends right then, and then you're the lead for the next one. So there's this, when am I going to play this so I can, dominate the next round or start the next round? And it plays very quick, very easy to teach. And man, the more I think about this game, the more and it's just like a real tiny small box, almost like an Oink size box type of game. But very cool, very playful art on it, nothing serious or anything, but a fun game that I honorable mention. But if we play it again, like over the next few weeks, it may make my list next month.
Just keep the box away from Carlos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't let him tear that thing up.
As long as they put that little finger notch,
Little finger holes.
There you go. That's
but
all
it sounds like a card shedding ladder game.
That's pretty much what it is.
Where, unlike Scout, where you're punished, like you're pulling cards, you're easily just adding to it. Like, I'm the captain now, I'm taking this over.
Right.
So it sounds like a lot more positive feels.
Yep. And if you play, if you played 1, 2, 3, and then I came out and I played 11, 12, 13, now I'm leading. Like I'm covering up your cards basically. So nobody can add to your cards, but they can still add to mine now. So they can, it's just a fun back and forth, card shedder.
Yep. Yeah, I've definitely played. I don't know if it has a different name. It may be known as something else on BGA, but I've definitely played that on BGA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's it.
All right, folks. That's another episode of Beans and Dice Podcast, Thursday night live call-in show. We'll be back next week. We're going to do a topic show, hoping for some voicemails. We're going to talk about gaming adjacent or not even close to gaming things that make you want to come back to the table. What are things that you do in your outside of your gaming life that make you say, man, I can't wait to play another game? As an example, take an I-4 to go to Orlando, come home like, I can't wait to play some Thunder Road Vendetta.
Gotta wreck some people.
What is it in your life that brings you, outside of gaming things, that brings you back to the table just thinking about gaming? Nice. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Wayne.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wish you all the best. Continue to pray for us and our families. God bless everyone. Good night.
Night.